for a breakaway on the chase to raise the cup. We'll be standing on our heads till we meet them at center ice. Hockey is back, Jack. Hockey is back, Jack. Hockey is back, Jack, baby, and we'll meet you at center ice.
We did it, everyone. We made it to Friday. Give it up for Friday, everybody.
Good job,
How about
Friday.
that?
Good job, Friday.
Look at this crew we got here today. We got Roy, and we got Jeremy, and we got Chris, and Mike, and Tony. I think this crew's worked together before. And we got Dave, who is out there on the West Coast. Hello, Dave Damashek.
Oh, Zaz, breaking news. It's not just Friday. School's out for summer.
I've been in the graduation circuit recently. I think Dave has been in the graduation circuit recently. We will get to that, all right? I've got to tell you, though, I'm jealous of Dave. When Dave's messaging me last night, you know, and we're all watching the hockey, right? And I'm just thinking to myself, like, I'm struggling to stay awake here. I'm on the couch in the Zaslow Mansion family room in my underwear. Couch is so uncomfortable. But I'm on the couch, and it's late, and Dave's 3 hours behind us, like wide awake. Just the hockey game ends, right, Dave? The hockey game ends, and then you make yourself dinner, right? Is that the way it works?
It is the greatest enduring concession that the East Coast has to make for the West Coast. You know, women have to, you know, there are debates about, like, the virtues of, like, I'd rather be a guy, I'd rather be a woman because of these reasons and those reasons. You know, like, oh, I got to wear high heels every day. Man, what a pain in the ass that society sort of asks me to do that. And the powers above have given me a period, and the other gender doesn't have to deal with that. This is the same thing. You guys, man, that is some baggage you have to carry every day of your life as sports fans.
Mike, we're going to get to the hockey. The hockey was good last night, man. The hockey was good. Mike, do we have any kind of update? You've seen I've been wearing for the last couple days. I'm wearing my Get the Hell Away from South Florida and the University of Miami Michael Yormark hat. Get it wherever hats are sold.
You have to wake them up there, Zaz.
Well, yeah. I mean, sometimes people fall asleep in the middle of big meetings, you know. Mike, do we have any kind of real update on the UM athletic director search? Because I know there was an update Barry Jackson put out on Twitter a couple of days ago, but the update was something you said like 2 months ago, that the Canes have essentially found the reaction to Michael Yormark, who it really seems like was about to be hired, that they found the reaction, they were shocked by it, the negative reaction, and as a result, they have pivoted off of Yormark and they've opened up to other candidates. It's like, Mike said that 2 months ago. Do we have any kind of real update now?
Yeah, we do. And I think more credence to what you just said about Michael Yormark having really made a lot of progress in getting that job until his name leaked out. People would be surprised to learn that Miami is in no rush here, that this search is still very early in its process. It's not going to be this expansive search. I've been able to confirm 3 names that are in this mix. I would believe that Michael Yormark is out of it. I haven't heard much about him. About it lately. Jeff Purinton, a former AD, now working for Learfield. Brian White, the brother of Danny White, who is a former UCF AD and
family.
Current Tennessee AD, and has done some. His brother has done some good things. This is a lot like the Brett Yormark, Michael Yormark situation, where one brother is a little bit more accomplished in the world of college athletics. But I mean, you know, Brian White, his first hire was Dusty May. And I know that he has a lot of interest. I'm not sure how much interest Miami has in him. I don't think Miami is looking for a conventional AD, which would probably be a favorable thing for Jim Frivola, the current head of business ops.
He gets my vote.
At Bournemouth. What he's doing, for those that don't know about soccer, especially Premier League dynamics, what Jim Frivola has been able to do at Bournemouth is nothing short of miraculous. not just from a business sense, but also bringing stability to a yo-yo club. Getting a stadium deal done in that part of the world takes a lot of politicking and a lot of expertise.
He's got experience with very big organizations, Vegas Knights, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Dolphins, UFC.
What he did with the UFC in Vegas with the hockey team out there is also super impressive. So you have a guy that has shown that he can adapt, and you're going to need to adapt in this whole new world of college athletics. So out of the names that I've heard, in full disclosure, I've known Jim for 20 years. I've always wanted him to be Miami's AD. I've always thought he'd be perfect. So hopefully he's the guy. I'm just glad that we don't have a Michael Yormark situation anymore. That seems to be behind us.
Yep. Do you feel like you played a role?
I mean, in letting people know that Michael Yormark sucks?
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yes, I definitely played a role saying, what the hell are we doing?
Good. I feel like I played a role.
Yes, you did.
You did.
Yeah, you did.
I'm proud of that.
A lot of people that were actually aware of Michael Yormark's reputation here, like this wasn't like some weaponized special forces politicking behind the scenes thing. All we were doing was bringing Michael Yormark's actual his reputation locally into the light.
Yeah, that's right. Keep your snake oil out of South Florida. You are not welcome back. So speaking of hurricanes, hockey was good last night, Dave. Oh, my goodness. You know, the Canes winning last night, I guess, you know, if you're a hockey fan, we're Panther fans who don't like the Hurricanes, so I'm rooting for the Knights, although not hard because the Knights are not very likable. But the Canes winning last night is a good thing. It essentially guarantees us more hockey. It guarantees this will be a longer series as opposed to a shorter series. But man, like, that's right. But man, Vegas is up 2-0 with like 10 minutes left in the game. And then the Hurricanes are just peppering Carter Hart. They're peppering Carter Hart. They eventually get the pair of goals. But then we get the big controversy last night. And I'm interested in what you guys think. I'll start with you, Dave. So it's a 2-2 game. There's like 5 minutes left maybe. And you have a scrum around the crease, around the goalie. And eventually the puck trickles underneath the goalie into the net, but the referee, and please speak up if I'm recounting this incorrectly, the referee immediately signals no goal. Now, we thought when we're watching the replay on television, and the broadcasters, they thought so as well, that it was ruled no goal because the whistle was blown. But when you watch the replay, it's pretty questionable if the whistle was blown before the puck actually crosses the line. So Tortorella, the coach of the Knights, he challenges. But we learned then what he was actually challenging was the goal was called no goal on the ice for goalie interference. So they're challenging the goalie interference. Dave, looking back at it now, because the interference, the call on the ice stood, the Canes went on the power play because of delay of game. They scored. They took the lead 3-2 with like 5 minutes left. And here's the quote from John Tortorella, why he challenged. Because the risk-reward was enormous. I saw a loose puck in front of Freddie. Our player stabbed it, didn't move the goalie, and it goes through and went to the other side. I'd challenge it 10 out of 10 times. That was John Tortorella on the failed challenge, which did lead to, at the time, a power play goal. Now, Vegas would score with the empty net with a minute to go to tie it, but the Canes did win in overtime. Dave, what did you make of the challenge there? What did you make of the controversy?
First of all, thank Jesus the Canes won that game. It would really suck if it was heading back to Vegas for the Knights, who have no business even being there, and Tortorella's inclusion in all this is a bad look for the sport of hockey. I feel like the entire regular season is on the cusp of being invalidated by John Tortorella, of all people. I get it. I agree with Tortorella's decision, given the stakes in that moment. If it is a good goal and he challenges that and they win that one, now they're heading back home with a 2-0 lead and probably, or not, or have a good shot at least of hoisting the cup in Vegas in a few nights from now. I'm sorry to be a curmudgeon. I hate the stuff that our eyes can already tell us, and now it's a point of strategy in a game that the coaches, the teams must treat whether or not what our eyes can tell us already with the officials. We have to be delicate with these officials. They're people after all, and their feelings matter just as much as the rest of ours do. Why would it be a well, if I do it, I might get a penalty. That's a ridiculous thing to be including into a major moment in the final of a major sport.
So I'm torn on whether or not I'm good with Tortorella challenging there, because part of me is, okay, the reward is rather enormous because they would, go up 3-2 in that spot. They would take the lead late in the game. And the risk, okay, you get a penalty, which the Canes ended up scoring on, but the Canes' power play has been miserable in the playoffs, right? So if you're Tortorella, if you lose it there, you probably don't feel like you're going to give up a power play goal. Because, again, the Canes' power play, they can't even get shots on goal. So I'm a little bit torn as to whether or not he should have challenged there, because I'm watching the replays. Oh, it's goalie interference that they're challenging here? There's no way there. I don't know if it plays a role because the game was in Carolina. There was no way they were overturning that call in the ice. There was no chance.
I kind of felt for Marc Messier, and I don't know if you guys saw that intermission. Messier was
I didn't see, but everyone was saying like he was off his rocker. What did he say?
Well, he was like a dog with a bone. Like, he just refused to acknowledge the construct. Like, he didn't have a legal leg to stand on, but I kind of understood what he was trying to say.
So he thought it was a goal?
He was he's like, all right, this should be a goal. Like, if we're actually playing this thing out, I know the whistle and the goalie and the intention to blow a whistle, which is a phrase that Roy reminded me of, which is
you like that phrase?
It's not just the whistle blowing, it's the intention to blow.
I meant to blow a whistle.
Yeah.
Play's over.
Yeah, I get where Messier was coming from, in that in other games this is a goal. That it's not.
What if it was
exactly
earlier in the game?
Well, if the stakes were different, if it was on the road, if it was a different crew, like I don't think you could.
They were
look
never
at that.
overturning that.
I agree with. And they also had the rule book in their favor once they decided to blow the whistle in the fashion, or intended to blow the whistle in the fashion that they did. But I did kind of feel bad for Marc Messier in that he should have just capitulated. He's like, look, I get what you're saying, but also it's a goal. The best comparison I can make is in soccer when they go to VAR and you see a guy is offside by the toenail. What the hell are we doing?
Is there any part of you that is tired of Messier on the broadcast? Because, I mean, certainly for me, you go back 2 years ago with the Panthers and Oilers, and like every game, it was so apparent Messier just wants the Oilers to win so bad. Like that got annoying for me as a Panther fan a couple years ago. I do really like the ABC ESPN broadcast because I think P.A. Subban is excellent. But anyway, that game last night was awesome. And for people like myself, I got to raise my hand because I said it. This is going to be a poorly rated series. I do mention the caveat, who cares? Like, if you're a hockey fan, who cares if it's a poorly rated series? But nonetheless, these first two games have been incredible. Game 1 was incredible. Game 2, especially third period, and then into overtime, absolutely incredible. I'm way dialed into this series. I love it.
Zaz, I do think, Mike Fuentes texted me not a half an hour ago that amidst Stanley Cup Final, NBA Finals, all that's happening in baseball, Shohei Ohtani continuing to prove himself to be the greatest baseball player in the history of people. What's ESPN talking about right now? The Dallas Cowboys ne'er-do-well wide receiver George Pickens. It does matter. I don't like, generally speaking, the rolling discussion about the ratings as though we fans should.
You're right.
Should
why would we care? You're right.
But I do think if you care about the NHL, if you really are, a long-time supporter, Roy and I, you kind of feel like you got to drag it into the limelight a little bit. And that's why I said what I said 5 minutes ago about this being a bad look. I feel like this is a throwaway season now. Could have been something special with the Avs and those great teams that they were up against in their division. And the Canes were a legit team, and there's some luster. The Sabres would have been a great story. Instead, this is the mess we get. The best thing, the salvaging thing that would happen here is that the Canes get over because they were a real good team and deserve to be in this spot.
Look, I'm a hating-ass hater, and I wasn't thrilled to see either of these teams in the Cup final because I'm applying my Panther bias. These games have been great. Game 1 was spectacular, a load of fun. This game was more cagey, even though you got some goals. You had an all-time third period. There have been great moments. These two teams are very tight. And as far as the ratings go, Game 1 was the highest-rated Cup final game since 2019.
Why is that?
Well, not all the Cup finals have been on network television, so that is an added boost. But it's irrefutable that people tuned into this Game 1, which did a great job of maintaining the audience because that was great action. Yep. And I'm into this Cup final. I wanted to watch it as a hater, and during that third period, I couldn't help but be drawn into it. It's a strange venue because they don't own it, right? That's a college basketball venue that they are leasing, and it still provides this crazy atmosphere, Dave.
From you guys obviously steeped in what goes down in that region, I'm surprised it wasn't a bigger deal, or was it, and did I just not catch it where I was, that when the team from Hartford, the Whalers, with the iconic logo and all that, they moved down there, whatever it was, a quarter century ago, down to somewhere in the Carolinas. I still couldn't tell you what town. Raleigh is where they are, as a matter of fact. I just thought of that.
Yeah, you're an REM guy. They're from that Raleigh-Durham area.
That's
that right. REM just ascended to such great heights. Greatest American rock band in some people's opinions, Dave.
Well, Athens, Georgia is where they're from specifically.
Yeah, but that was a college radio station corridor that they just dominated.
I mean, it's not a controversial take to say that REM is the greatest American band. But okay, listen, but I see you want to derail this. But I am curious. Were you guys steamed? Talk about iconic in the southeast of sports America, the Miami Hurricanes. And then this team moves down from the New England area, or whatever the hell you would call Hartford, Connecticut. They moved down there and they claim the name Hurricanes.
No one
in
identifies.
Your backyard?
No one identifies the Hurricanes with Carolina. No one. Like, it's Miami.
But it's an outrageous move, nevertheless.
Nah, I don't care. Don't care.
But I will say, in the meager defense of the Carolina Hurricanes, they do get much more landfall over there. They get battered by those things.
Can I also tell you, though, it's an interesting point Dave brings up, because it's not the first time that they've done that to us. The Carolina Panthers came after the Florida Panthers. So they get new teams, and they just look at South Florida and decide, which one of their names can we take? I mean, if they get another team soon, I don't know what sport, maybe baseball, right? They're going to be called the Heat.
Or the Marlins.
Carolina Dolphins.
Well, no, they take from the different sport, you know? Like,
true.
their
The
football
Carolina
team took
Heat.
our hockey.
You're so right.
Their hockey team took our football.
Well, and then it's easy, right? Heat for baseball.
Yeah,
actually
if they
makes
get
sense.
a baseball team, they're going to be called the Carolina Heat.
Kind of dope.
That's some bullshit.
No, it's
right
terrible. Would you be offended if they went even like another fish, if they went with another creature of the sea?
No.
Because dolphins, it feels like kind of,
No.
you know, is there another worthy creature? Sharks is pretty good, I guess. You wouldn't be offended if they were the
No.
Carolina Sharks?
No, there's
It's a little
lots.
bit of
There's
a
lots
dig.
of sea monsters.
no.
You pick one.
Well, no. Any given Sunday, we had the
Can't
Miami
take the
Sharks.
Miami Sharks, yeah.
Wow.
Terrible
You're
movie.
right.
Terrible.
What are you on
I
about?
agree.
Bro,
What
what?
are you on
That
about?
movie is incredible.
Okay, hold on a second, Mike. I used to think so too. When's the last time you saw it?
I literally saw it 4 months ago.
Okay, I saw Dave. Real quick. Any given Sunday, good movie or terrible movie?
I'm thumbs down, but I will
It's
say
terrible.
if you ask actual NFL players, they love it. They
It's
think it's
terrible.
pretty accurate about the off-field stuff, at least.
Back when house parties were house parties.
So who do you want to listen to on any given Sunday? Zaz and Dave Damashek, or actual NFL players?
I want to listen to a movie guy. I'm a movie guy.
No, this movie rocks. And
Not with that take,
I'm
buddy.
not even. I don't get mad when you say that it's bad. The fact that it's bad
It's
is
terrible.
No, it's not terrible. The fact that it's bad is part of the
And
appeal.
I was on the field. His eyeball.
Yeah, Lawrence
was
Taylor
on the
cut
field.
Willie Beeman's car in half. He cut it in half.
Did you
I
miss
like
that?
to think all team doctors are that way.
That movie came out in what, like maybe like 99, 2000, all right? And I loved it. What a movie, all right? About 4 or 5 years ago, my older son at the time, he was like 12 or 13. I'm like, hey, man, I got a great movie for us to watch. We're going to watch, it's a football movie called Any Given Sunday. You're going to love it. And so me and my son, we sat on the couch in the Zaslow Mansion family room. We put on Any Given Sunday. About 30 minutes in, I turned to him, and I could tell he's not really enjoying it. About 30 minutes in, I turned to him, I go, this movie sucks, right? And he goes, yeah, this movie sucks. And we shut it off. It does not hold up. It's a terrible movie.
It does hold up because if you're an Al Pacino fan and you just want to see unhinged Al Pacino, he delivers.
You don't support women in power.
I like to think that every time my dad goes to a bar to pick up a single lady, he is James Woods in that film.
Put it on the poll. Does Zaslow support women in power? Juju, please. Any Given Sunday is a terrible, terrible movie that does not hold up.
You didn't even get to the
I
best part, which
agree.
is the end when he says he's going to Albuquerque.
Yeah, the speech is good.
They think it's a retirement, and he's like, I'm taking the job down with the expansion team in Albuquerque. And like everyone's shocked by that. And then he also acquired Willie Beeman, and everyone's like, whoa, what a turn.
Okay, wouldn't that be part of what makes the movie terrible? Is that
Oh, you
how does
don't
that
get
news
it.
how does that news slip through the
It
cracks?
was the 90s.
That the coach breaks the news at the press conference, and on top
says
of it,
there was an eye on the field. What are you talking about?
the owner, Cameron Diaz, she was like happy with it. Like, oh, he's so kooky, our coach. Yeah, what a move.
How about Oliver Stone in the booth?
Yeah.
that is some ass
Oliver
on.
Stone and was Barry Switzer his color guy?
Yeah, Barry Switzer was there.
I don't know what to say, really.
Movie's terrible.
3 minutes. The biggest battle of our professional lives.
I've never seen this movie.
Oh, wait, let him do the thing.
No, I've never seen Any Given Sunday,
Jeremy,
which is a
lay
huge
out.
blind spot.
He's just
quiet.
getting warmed up.
All comes
Quiet.
down to today. Either we heal as a team, or we are going to crumble. Inch by inch, play by play, till we're finished. We're in hell right now, gentlemen. Believe me, and we can stay here and get the shit kicked out of us. Or we can fight our way out, back into the light. We can climb out of hell, 1 inch at a time. Now, I can't do it for you. I'm too old. I look around, I see these young faces, and I think, I made every wrong choice a man can make. I pissed away all my money, believe it or not. I chased off anyone who ever loved me. And lately, I can't even stand the face I see in the mirror. You know, you get old in life, things get taken from you.
I think you need a little bit more Pacino to get it over the line.
On this team,
There you go.
we fight for that inch. On this team, we tear ourselves and everyone around us to pieces for that inch. We claw with our fingernails for that inch. Because we know when it all adds up, all those inches, that's going to make the fucking difference between winning and losing. Between living and dying. I'll tell you this, in any fight, it's the guy who's willing to die who's going to win that inch. And I know if I'm going to have any life anymore, it is because I am still willing to fight and die for that inch. Because that's what living is. The 6 inches in front of your face. Now, I can't make you do it.
That's what she said.
You got to look at the guy next to you. Look him in the eyes. Now, I think you're going to see a guy who's willing to go that inch with you. You're going to see a guy who's willing to sacrifice himself for this team. Because he knows when it comes down to it, you're going to do the same for him. That's a team, gentlemen. And either we heal as a team or we will die as individuals. That's football, guys.
I'm surprised you read everything perfectly.
That's all it is. Now, what you going to do?
And you don't like that movie.
Why is that better than
The
that?
scene's good. That scene doesn't make the movie.
It's up there.
Homoerotic.
Yeah.
It's a good scene. Willie Beeman starts inching closer to the coach
When
as he's talking.
When
That means
Pacino's-
he's into it.
when
He gets
Pacino's
closer.
watching Ben-Hur and invites Willie Beeman over for dinner, how awkward that is. Man, that's so great.
I like By the way,
difference
their
between
uniforms
living
of the team they
and
play.
dying.
The team they play in the Cowboy Stadium looks a lot like the Golden Knights to bring it all
It does.
together. The Willie Beeman, though, in the critical moment,
What a player.
he makes about an 85-yard run. In the way, because that's what you do. You call running plays when you need a touchdown and you got to go 80-some yards. You run the ball, and you're with your quarterback. And Willie Beeman eludes roughly 37 would-be tacklers on his way to the end zone. Just kill one by one. They come at him, sort of like when the Karate Master. They don't do the group thing. Like, let's just all get him at one time, and then he has no chance against us. No, one at a time they go at him. The defenders do one by one. Every 7 yards or so, another defender makes his way in front of Willie Beeman, only to be cast aside by the moves of Beeman, number 13.
How about homeboy last night, who eats the puck right to the face
Brady McNabb.
in front of the goal? Let me tell you. Do we have an update on him? Do we know is he alive? Do we know what's going on
He went
there?
to the hospital.
Yeah, he did. He went to the
He
hospital.
has no nose anymore.
I would bet my life that he plays Game 3.
The slow motion of him just like.
It really is like the perfect shot because the puck, you could see it goes under the visor. Like the trajectory of it perfectly goes under the visor and just nails him on the nose, straight, flat face on the nose.
Yeah, his nose is completely smushed in and went to the left.
These
Probably
guys,
Game 3.
these guys are warriors. All right, we know this, and I'll tell you. Like, remember when we played the street hockey tournament, which we were terrible at the Panthers?
One where you weren't even wearing skates. You were
Right.
just running around in Skechers.
The street hockey tournament a couple months ago. Roy and me and Chris,
Gabe, remember how good Gabe was?
Rose, and
Not so much.
David Drug, the goaltender.
And I got to tell you, like early on, because I've never played real hockey before. I've never played ice hockey, and I've never played street hockey. And so I'm out there, and once you realize, and we're not playing with a puck, we're playing like a rubber ball, but you're standing in front of the goal, and this rubber ball is coming so fast from slap shots to the net, and you're standing in the way there. It was scary.
My shin still hurts from eating one of those.
I don't understand how these hockey players do it. I really don't. And Mike's right. Homeboy's going to play Game 3. He's going to play.
Full cage, I bet.
He's definitely going to. I mean, remember when Zdeno Chara broke his jaw? Okay, I'll just play with a cage next game. Like this guy is going to play next game.
Yeah, Chara played with a jaw that was wired shut.
Yeah.
And lifted the Stanley Cup.
Right.
after.
And like we were, for 4 days, we're wondering, oh my God, can Mitchell Robinson play with a broken pinky? Right? Like, how is that even a question? If Mitchell Robinson, now maybe he was always going to play, but how was that ever even a question if Mitchell Robinson was going to play with a broken pinky? This guy just had his face smashed. He's going to play Game 3.
Do you remember that time Zdeno Chara did a Zoom interview with his bed in the background and there were leather straps hanging from the bedpost?
I don't remember that.
Yeah, Google it.
That sounds amazing. You know
For
what?
you to watch?
Just to know. That's amazing.
It's a prime cucking situation for you.
Take that however you want to take it.
Okay.
Mike, we got a new episode of Morally Abhorrent, World Cup soccer podcast later on today, yes?
Coming up later today, thank you for the feedback on our U.S. men's national team preview that we did with Tom Bogert of The Athletic. This episode that we're dropping today is an entire World Cup primer for those that are looking to dive in head first and get brought up to speed. Chris Whittingham returns to Morally Abhorrent, and we preview each and every group, each and every team, make predictions, say who's getting into the knockouts, and who's the winner? What's the semis? Who's the golden boot? Who's the golden ball? Who's the young player of the tournament? Whitty is spectacular. It is really hard to do an entire World Cup primer in an hour and be entertaining, and he was awesome. We nail it, so please listen Morally Abhorrent today.
Cool. All right, there you go. I want to mention something from earlier in the week that I just hadn't had a chance to get to. It's a little bit of a somber note, but I think everyone's going to be okay. So a few days ago, the original radio voice of the Miami Heat, Dave Halberstam, passed away at 74 years old. He had a battle with brain cancer, apparently. He had been for a very long time after he was with the Heat. He was an executive with Westwood One. But Dave Halberstam was the original radio voice of the Miami Heat. Not the Heat's inaugural season, because a lot of people don't know the first 4 years of Miami Heat basketball, they had a radio TV simulcast. So the first year on the radio, Sam Smith was the play-by-play. Years 2, 3, and 4, Eric Reed was the play-by-play, even though he was a television guy. So it was a simulcast first 4 years. So the first ever Heat radio broadcaster, radio voice, came in the Heat's 5th year of existence. And for 6 seasons, I believe, from 93 to 98, Dave Halberstam was the radio voice of the Miami Heat. And I was such a huge fan. Like, as a kid, huge fan. He was like a wordsmith. You know, his vocabulary, which is super... it's important, but also it's kind of a thing of the past where, like, your radio voice is this guy who has just an unbelievable vocabulary and can describe the plays to you. And I felt like every single time, granted I was in my early teenage years then, I felt like every time I listened to the Heat broadcast I was learning new words. I was learning new ways to describe things. He was such a joy to listen to. Now if it's your favorite team, you want to be able to watch the games on TV. Like, okay, being able to listen in the car, if you have to miss some of the game, that's cool. But I remember back then, I used to like if I had to hear some of the Heat game in the car, because I was able to then hear Dave Halberstam, who he did it solo. It was just him, if I remember correctly. I used to get to hear Dave Halberstam call the games. He was so great. And I got to meet him one time. It was like 20 years ago. I got to meet him one time when he was an exec with Westwood One. He came to Super Bowl Radio Row. And I do want to point out, though, the video images that are being shown on the TV is from David Halberstam, the author, not Dave Halberstam, the Heat radio voice. You don't want to confuse the two.
But we do have that very poignant slow zoom.
Because this David Halberstam, the author, he may be alive for all I know. But that is not Dave Halberstam from the former Miami Heat broadcaster.
That's $5, Lewis.
But anyway, so I just
gentle push-ins on all of them. Listen, Zaz, I hope it's not a thing of the past to start where you started, because the players matter, of that generation, and the uniforms matter, and all that kind of stuff. But man, the roots sink deep for fans, especially young fans, when you have the everydayness. Baseball, probably number one. But man, you spend a lot of your nights, for better or worse, with these cats. So yes, you do. If they are good, they become something in your life.
Yeah.
I shame the devil if sports fans of the 21st century have moved past the need for that, because that relationship you have is one of the most important things that makes you a diehard sports fan.
It was a great tribute until we showed the wrong Dave Halberstam. I was proud of that.
Who's dead, by the
I
way?
thought you were excellent.
So that Dave Halberstam's dead also.
Yeah,
That's a good
all right.
thing.
Do you have any
Good
nice
job,
things
everybody.
to say
Good
about
job.
him?
We're somehow, are we happy about that?
Yeah.
We should not be applauding a dead man.
Well, I just
I'm
love
sorry.
that the
Rest
photos
in power.
make it very obvious that he's a writer. Like, that is not the workstation of
Stacks
a
of paper
radio
on the
play-by-play
desk.
man.
He's writing. My father and I, though, we loved listening to Dave Halberstam.
Well, R.I.P. to him and
the author.
And the author as well.
And the author, David Halberstam. Both of them, just tremendous work that they both did in their time here on Earth. There you go. Anyway, so Dave, you and I both have been experiencing this recently, right? Where it's graduation season. We're into June. Everyone's graduating. You went to a 5th grade graduation.
That's right. They do those now, and they count as graduation
Right,
somehow.
right.
Weird.
I was at an 8th grade graduation last night. My son now going to high school, which is crazy. We have 2 boys in high school.
Jump.
They'll be in the school together. That's very cool. I am wondering, though, like, do we have – Tony, if I were to ask you, you seem like someone who's good for this. For the kids who are graduating, I feel like you can give good advice.
I would give great advice to if
What
I was
to
like
do
a
for the
commencement
next step.
speaker.
The next
Yeah,
step of your
absolutely.
I
life.
feel like you could give good advice.
Like a graduating senior. He's
From a graduating class
he's moving into the world.
out of high school.
Do you have advice for the youths out there?
I do. I have a lot of advice for the youth. Do you want me to do it as a commencement speech? Do you want to do it as kind of like an older brother kind of thing? Like, what's your vibe?
Do we have the robe and that hat?
Oh, do we have
No,
a
well,
robe?
it's ubiquitous
The
now.
cap and the
clips
gown?
online of
No, the robe and that hat.
Yeah, famously.
Conan talking to Harvard and executives up there giving their commencement addresses and mentioning AI and getting booed. I think we need that look.
Do we have the robe and the hat?
Yeah. Well, why don't you finish it all off with like a scroll?
You knew what I meant. Get out of here. Everyone in the audience is like, yep, knew exactly what he meant.
Dave, excuse me, Tony, what if at first it's like,
Also, I found out I got to the bottom of the Dave Halberstram tribute, and it's Chris Cody's
Little
fault.
on me.
oh, I want to hear this.
I put
because
it in.
Because if I could say something real quick, I feel that's the second time I've done this recently. The first time where it's, it was a few weeks ago when we were talking about that snake oil salesman, Michael Yormark, and we were showing pictures of Brett Yormark the whole time. And I had to point out, I feel bad when I have to do that. I don't want to correct the video people. They work really hard. I don't want to do that. But, like, I had to do that
They
there.
are twins.
Right, but, like, here, when we're showing the completely wrong David Halberstam, I had to say
How
something.
could I know
right?
there's two Dave Halberstrands? How could I know that?
No.
Wait.
The winner here is Roy. That's who I want in the foxhole going forward with me. Roy was whoever said it. They said Roy got the wrong video, and then the camera went to Roy. Did he say a word? Did he say wasn't me? No, he didn't. He wore it. That's a teammate. That's what you want in the foxhole with you. He didn't turn to his right and say it was Cody's fault. No, he just wore it.
Roy,
Cheers
you
to
know about
you,
falling on that
Roy.
sword?
I didn't even know there was a sword to fall on in that situation. I didn't know they turned to me. All I know is it's not my fault. It's definitely Chris Cody's fault.
Okay, I take back what I just said then.
Hey guys, we're about to go live. Lock in right after the game on the Le Batard Network YouTube page. Lock in.
Hey, we're going live.
I don't know why we were so silly today.
Right, 'cause it's fun when we together.
Yeah, I know.
The Stanley Cup Final continues, and we will watch Game 3 together as the Hockey Show Watch-Along presented by DraftKings. It's Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Final between Vegas and Carolina. You can watch Game 3 with us on Saturday at 8 p.m. Rosie, are
I
you
am
excited?
giving you my Saturday, people, so you better watch.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
her weekends are
Very,
Very,
very
very-
sacred.
very sacred and very special.
Yep.
That's Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Final between Vegas and Carolina. You can watch it with us. It's the Stanley Cup Final, and we are watching it together, presented by DraftKings.
Go back to Chris Cody here because I'm not sure that I knew this. I have to go back. So you're married to an identical twin.
That's right.
Okay, I have questions.
Go on.
First,
Not too many questions.
I know your father's sitting right next to me. It's a little weird. Okay, so first question.
No wonder they're into swinging at that house.
Were you always able to tell them apart?
Not at the beginning when we were just dating. Her sister has like a beauty mark on her face, so I was like, mine's the one without that.
Okay. My next question is, a lot of times, your wife or your girlfriend will be like, you think my sister's attractive, don't you? You clearly think her sister's attractive.
That's right. Undeniable.
If you think your wife's hot, you think her sister is hot.
My sister-in-law's hot.
That's
There, I said
crazy,
it.
right?
I've never said that to her before.
No, you got to say that, though.
Well, you must think she's hot.
But Zaz, here's the deal. Everyone with a hot sister-in-law thinks their sister-in-law is hot. He's the only one who's allowed to say it out loud. That's the difference.
That's true. That's true.
Not like the rest of us are like, oh, my sister-in-law is terrible. Like, if you got a hot one, you're like, oh, my God, she's hot, but you just can't say it out loud.
Yeah. And are they actually different?
They're very similar in a lot of ways.
So how'd you choose?
The other one was taken.
Papa Cody, wait a second now. You experience this. I mean, do you find one more charming than the other?
At the very beginning, I, too, had difficulty telling them apart.
But do you like, now that you've gotten to know, presumably both of them pretty well, do you think that your boy made the right choice between the two?
I have to say that. I mean, of course he did.
Oh, my goodness.
Of course he did.
Now,
I love my daughter-in-law,
But they're eerily alike.
Now,
not just physical.
what I'm about to admit now is a little embarrassing.
Go on.
There are times, in marriage, you're going through, you're like, it's just, this is.
I don't like where this is headed.
I don't either.
I do.
Where sometimes you just like, if you're trying to keep things fresh, you just imagine it's the other person.
Oh, no.
That's an unbelievable admission.
That
What's
is-
the matter with you, man?
I didn't hear
Suey. Hey, guys in the room outside, mark that down.
For
Suey
the record,
revelation.
did everybody see as one of society's great empaths? Did you see me try to get in the way? Did you see me try to dive in front of that? He refused. He went. He plowed straight ahead.
He did.
You guys never struggle, huh?
Your wife clearly does
I
not
mean,
listen to this show.
Sure
what,
doesn't.
what,
You got
what in hell?
no worries
what
that
did you
this
just
is getting
say?
back to her.
Tony, how you feel about that admission?
Not great. Yeah, not great. Even though, admittedly, Chris says that his wife doesn't watch the show, which is good, right?
Very
so he
good.
feels like he can shoot from the hip here and not really be taken to task, like Dave said. Very good. But the issue is, sometimes some things are so flammable and so big that they peer through the veil of Chris saying, "Oh no, my wife doesn't watch a show," where she's like, "You said what?"
That was
Bigger than the show, man.
Bigger than the show.
Let's not clip this if we can.
That was an incredible admission.
It really
Greg, what
was.
did you make of all that?
A little bit unfortunate. I wish he hadn't said that. It could come back to haunt.
You guys never struggle.
Well, in the context of this show, you can always say, I was just kidding. Of course I was just kidding. But will she believe you?
I was.
Okay.
What is the Nick Bobic?
It's a 60s song. The name game. Nick Bobic. Banana Bofic. Me, my Momic. Nick.
Rosanna, Rosanna, Rosanna.
I'm the kind of guy that Nick. Who made it the salad? Hey, Butterfinger. Who made it the salad? Nick Bobic. Who made it the salad? Georgia.
That's not correct.
Very good.
It's a parrot that says very good out of the side of its mouth.
That's correct.
What does this have to do with the name game?
I'm not going to take a quiz. Nick Bobic. Who made it the salad? Me, my Momic. Very good. Let's go States. We're rolling now, huh?
That's not correct.
Doesn't make it right. But don't go showering to try to please me.
Do you like breathing hot neck on the neck of hot?
Wow.
Are you turned on?
Do you like
Dangling.
breathing hot neck?
What's going on here?
Do you like
Sexy.
breathing hot neck?
You have been dry humped many times.
Intimate.
You have been dry humped many times.
Little pelvic thrust situation.
I like that.
Have you ever consoled a naked man before?
What does it feel like to get dry humped?
I saw pee-pee.
I've never consoled a naked man.
Breathing hot neck
I've never consoled a naked man.
Many times.
I saw pee-pee.
People out there, stop sending me pictures of the hotel rooms with the chair, okay? Stop sending those to me.
I like that. I like that.
He was naked,
Intimate.
dangling.
I would hold that thing really tight.
How would you do it?
What's going on here?
Do you like
Sexy.
breathing hot neck? Do you like breathing hot neck?
I've been dry humps.
You never know.
I've been dry humps.
Many times.
I've never consoled a naked man.
Have you ever consoled a naked man?
I've never consoled a naked man.
Many times.
You never know. I like that.
You know what I'm talking about?
Chris Cody and Roy revealed this to me. And Roy, I don't know the context of what it is that you guys were talking about that revealed this about Chris Cody.
Yeah, Chris asked me what the sound from the first down for the Dolphins games were. And I said
It's just a noise I've made throughout my entire life. It's just like I just did it. Hoo-wah!
Yeah.
And to me, that's another Miami Dolphins first down.
Well, let's find out. Let's find out if your dad knows, because he's not a real moviegoer. Instead of impersonating the sound, do you have the actual sound? Greg Cody, do you know who's making this sound?
Hoo-ah! I do.
Clark Gable.
Come on.
It's the famous actor.
Rock Hudson.
Oh, this is great. He doesn't know it.
It's No, it's the famous actor. And I got to pin his name down because I don't think
You should be able to say this immediately.
I don't think it's Robert De Niro.
No.
Hoo-ah! But I think it's
in the neighborhood.
In the neighborhood. Give me a second.
Hoo-ah!
Robert De Niro.
Humphrey
Al Pacino. Hoo-ah!
Hey, there you go.
If someone said that in his headphones, you're fired.
Now,
No,
what movie?
nobody said
what
that.
movie?
It's APEC. What movie?
Streetcar Named Desire.
You ain't you. No, you're not man enough to know the truth. Something like
No.
That's A Few
That's
Good
the one I
Men,
bought.
and that's A Few Good Men.
Good answer. Good answer.
And it's not, you're not man enough to know the truth. I
You can't handle the truth.
Don't know.
That's it's a different movie. Pacino was not in
You're
it.
not man enough to know the truth.
That was originally a line. Nicholson ad-libbed. They
Put
kept
it on the poll
that
at
was
Le
Nicholson.
Batard Show. Was Pacino in A Few Good Men? Was a blind Pacino?
Okay, who did he say? Who
Dad
said
on a
hoo-ah
hot
in
tin
what
roof.
movie?
Let's keep going. Let's see how long it takes you to get. I
Play it again.
I think did he win an Oscar? I think
Yes.
he won an Oscar
Yes, he
for
won
this.
Best Actor.
Yes.
Bull Durham.
No.
Good answer. Good answer.
Put it on the
Raging
poll.
Bull. Raging
Put it on
Bull.
the poll.
Raging
No.
It's a bull movie.
Just naming De Niro movies.
Red Bull. I don't know.
Put it on the poll. Was a blind Pacino in Bull Durham?
Chicago Bull.
This episode of the Dan Le Batard Show is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings! The crown is yours.
Dave Damashek is shocked to learn that I've never played street hockey.
I mean, you didn't.
Well, it was a foundational sport for young Dave and his contemporaries in elementary school, middle school, all the way up through high school. PE class, I mean, at least once a week, the plastic hockey sticks and the orange rubber ball broke out for all the kids. A delightful sport, but I guess it makes sense. Down in Florida, that's not a thing. What replaced it, though? What are the PE classes comprised of? Soccer, I'm guessing? Couldn't be baseball.
No, not a lot of soccer, because you got to remember, at least for me, we're talking 30 years ago, soccer was not big at all here in the States. And
Really?
No.
In Florida?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. And roller hockey, roller hockey became a pretty big thing here, around when shortly after the Panthers started, which was 1993. But I was getting older at that point. I was high school.
We
So
played hoops. We played football.
Yeah.
The sports that God intended.
basketball, football, box ball.
You are looking at a roller hockey goalie champion from when I was 11. Cody Shines and Shootouts still have the headline.
Oh, well, there you go, Cody. See, there's some sense.
It was
brought
indoor
into-
with a ball.
Cody's Slam, Paces Drugs.
Like father, like son.
Where was this headline?
This in a newspaper clipping. I have it somewhere. It's just
What newspaper?
I don't know actually. In hindsight, my dad may have made it up. Also, my dad may have made it happen. It might have been in the Herald.
I feel like
because of
that's
my dad.
possible.
Obviously, it wasn't first page.
He worked
hard. Front page. It wasn't front page.
Yeah, I feel like that's a possibility. No, box ball, basketball, football, kickball.
Burn ball.
What's burn ball?
Oh, burn balls. You got a racket ball and you throw it against the wall, right? And then if you drop it, you got to run and touch the wall, and the person who's next to you grabs it and tries to hit you before you touch the wall.
No, I
Burn
played that,
ball.
but I don't think we called it burn ball. But I know what you're talking about.
I didn't call it box ball. Didn't we call
what's
that
box
four
ball?
square?
Yeah, box ball,
Foursquare.
four square, same thing.
Foursquare.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah. No, that's what we played.
Kickball, kind of lame. Now,
kickball's awesome.
Dodgeball.
Yeah, dodgeball's
That-
good.
No, the utility ball, the reddish, PE ball.
Yeah.
Is better used for dodgeball than kickball. We can all agree, because you have the skunk who wants a pitch and bounce it in, and that's jive when you start doing that crap. I'm not interested in it. Dodgeball all the way.
It's cute hearing all you non-athletes talking about playing sports. I don't got it like us, right?
All right, so
I don't got it like us.
explain to Dave, explain to everyone out there what the activities that the two of you got involved in last night.
We played some pickup hoops. I'm a basketball guy now. I am now.
Just went to local Y?
No. I went to
More exclusive place.
I'm not at liberty to reveal.
We can't say where, but it's a
Yeah.
very nice place.
But it's a very nice place.
Place you would never go.
And you would never be invited. But this is my third now consecutive week. I hadn't played basketball in a good 15 years, so First one, the cardio got sent a message. Second one, feeling a little bit better. Third one, we still have a ways to go, but I feel like I impressed.
Full court?
Yeah, full court. I'm the oldest guy in this game by a pretty decent margin, I think. And look, I'm a role player. I'm not out there like the other guys. I don't do the pull-up transition 3. I know what my role is, and that's to go under the glass and eat.
Mike did a great job, to be honest. Like, it's the first time I've seen Mike play basketball. He was a mix between, like, prime Dennis Rodman and, like, Mitchell Robinson. Just,
Prime.
like, grabbing boards at all places, putting
The
his
shooting
body
was
on
like
the line.
Mitchell Robinson.
You had a little floater like Hartenstein, though.
I was 1 for 1 from the field.
Yeah, had like a little floater from like a bunny from like 4 or 5 feet away that he put in. But, man, Mike was on the floor grabbing boards.
You were on the floor?
Ooh. Zaz, are you hearing what I'm hearing? A little condescending, patronizing tone in Tony's
Oh,
voice.
no.
Mike, a little bit. Voice was a little higher than it needed to be, as he described. Now, Mike,
You don't think I'm prime Dennis Rodman? You don't think I'm prime Dennis Rodman?
Now listen, Mike can't score. I mean, completely awkward when he tries to dribble the ball.
Yes.
And, doesn't know the rules necessarily.
No,
but,
I know. My
he
problem when
tried
I dribble
hard
is that I
under
know
the
the
basket.
rules.
He rebounded.
He's talking out there. Back screen, back door.
Oh, no, there's a lot of communication. A lot of communication. Yeah. A lot of communication out there. I'm out there stealing the baseline, boys. I know my role over there. And, yes, I'm not a great dribbler. That's because I dribble the way that Pistol Pete taught me in that instructional video. Everyone else does this carry nonsense. I don't know how it's allowed. I'm out there calling travels and double dribbles, and no one's listening to me. But, no, hey, look, Tony, he's 10-day Tony. It is well known that Tony can hoop. I, believe it or not, no, I can't. I'm pretty self-aware. So what does someone who wants to play basketball and make positive contributions to his teammates do when he realizes he doesn't have it like that? I don't got the handles. I don't got the J. I go underneath the rim, and I eat.
Put it on the poll, Juju. Is Mike Ryan's basketball game a mix between prime Dennis Rodman and Mitchell Robinson?
Yeah, on the offensive glass, he was just a Hoover Dan down there. He was just grabbing every single board. That was probably on me as the captain of my team. I probably should have taken a look and be like, I'm going to take Mike so I can box him out, fight him down low, because the guy that was playing him was maybe a little bit more leaky on the fast breaks than he should have been, which is a whole other situation.
A little cherry picker.
Not a cherry picker, but he would take off early.
Guys, if I'm hearing Tony correctly, it seems like the other team had to adjust to Mike.
We should have, is what we did. We ended up losing the series 3 games.
The guy that went 1 for 1 from the field, we should have really.
Well, dog,
it wasn't
I don't
the
show
shooting.
up in box scores.
Exactly, it wasn't
I
shooting.
don't.
His plus minus was like plus 40, just grabbing boards. And
Everyone's
playing
on the court the whole time.
No, but you don't
Zaz,
understand what a winning player does.
I'm sorry, I got to cut through this. You're the expert here. It sounds to me like Mike Ryan maybe is a basketball cuck. I'm not as good as the other guys. I'll just be over here if you need me. I'll just be mostly an observer. I'm just here to help you guys out. You're the stars of the team. How say you, Zaslow?
I don't know why you're bringing that to me, as if I'm the expert.
You are. But look, I don't think anybody would confuse prime Dennis Rodman with being a cuck. Thank you very much.
That is true. There's one thing that I did want to say to Mike, a little bit of coaching
That's
up that.
self-cucking.
It's not. Look.
You're out there playing basketball. He's got Michael Jordan is his teammate. He's trying to win the ugly trophy that you get for winning the NBA title. You're playing pickup basketball. Why are you deferential? But to Tony and your teammates, you can't take shots. I've been admonished by better teammates in pickup basketball. Why are you shooting there? Game's on the line. Because we're playing pickup basketball and there's no money on the line. What am I have to take a backseat to you? Fat.
I play sports to win. You know, the iconic Jimmy Butler practice in which he whooped up on the starters with the backups while he was wearing a Rolex. You know how many baskets Jimmy Butler made in that, according to legend? Zero.
I don't know, but I think he probably also made $18 million while I did it. What did you make for taking a backseat to Glenn in your pickup basketball game?
There is not.
His name
Glenn.
was Joel.
Maybe Glenvar Heights, but there was no Glenn.
I did want to bring up the telestrator really quick.
I rebounded the whole game. Rebounded.
Dave,
second chance points, brother.
Exactly right.
Second chance points.
When you come down here, I want to see your game and see if you can hold the candles to Mike's.
It doesn't matter. Guess what I'm going to be doing? Shooting and otherwise, whatever I want to do in a pickup.
Not if you're on my team.
Not
if you're on my team.
You bring your smoky gray ass down in the paint and let's body up. Let's see if you can bang with the big boys, huh?
Well, if I don't make the shot, which I probably won't, Mike will get the rebound.
You won't make the shot. You'll get a hand in your face with a 7 out of 10 closeout, depending on which game we're playing. If it's game 4, it's going to be about a 4 out of 10, but it's going to be close out.
I'm a great teammate in pickup basketball game with no stakes. I work hard at defending the
Enough of the
baseline.
hate. Enough of the hate. Let's do some love
I'm 40, brother. There's a stake every time I run it up and down the court. It's not tear my Achilles.
Yes. Which Manny, I think, did hurt his knee.
That is that
on my closeout.
That is the go-to fear nowadays. When you're 40 and you're playing pickup basketball, the go-to fear is tearing the Achilles, right?
Yeah. It's something you got to put back in the depths of your mind.
Like, it's never something you would think about when you were in your 20s. But now in your 40s, I hope I don't tear my Achilles.
So there's
You
enough
see me
hate
right now, getting the ball at the highest point.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Yes.
You got to put a shit down there so he lowers himself so you can
know
go
what?
up and grab
what
the board.
terrifies me when I see someone north of 50 because they know. All I got to do is put a little bow in my ribs.
An elbow right there between rib 2 and 3.
Yeah.
You're not going anywhere. So enough of the hate from Dave Damashek. No, Dave, don't even put your finger up. I'm going to do a little bit of coaching here, a little bit of love for Mike Ryan because there was one play in particular that I wanted to coach him up on the spot, but I hit the game winner and everybody walked off the court, so I couldn't do that. So I'm going to pull up the whiteboard right here, and I'm going to get the telestrator, and I'm going to do a little work, X's and O's here with Mike.
Was it a 3-2 series? I thought it was 4-1.
No, it was 3-2.
All right, Tony, let's go. Roll it.
Waiting to get it here on my iPad here. Here we go.
I'm like Kurt Rambis.
Okay.
Yeah, clothesline somebody?
Tony, how's the telestrator working out for you so
I don't know.
far?
I see your ugly mug on it. I can't change that.
Yeah, it's not going so great.
Suffice to say,
I'm going to get GQ. Hold on.
All right.
This one, not my fault.
While Tony figures out how to use the telestrator so he could break down a combination of prime Dennis Rodman and Mitchell Robinson and show us how he got after it last night.
I have to say, there are moments when you're with grown-up fellas and things get so. One time, I used to write on the Man Show, and one time early on, we went outside to have a group football catch. Let's just go outside a little bit, throw it around a little bit. And one guy attempted a throw, and it was so bad. It was, some people look like they've never thrown a ball in their life, and it's a little uncomfy. But one guy threw it so poorly that it transcended ribbing.
What made it so poor? Like did he have?
You throw silly. He's like, oh my.
Like, was it right foot in front? Like what made it so poor?
Did you see? It was that. Yeah. I mean, hard to describe. I really have to mimic it, and I don't think I can because I'm just intrinsically athletic in every movement I make. So it's hard for me to mimic awkwardness, physical awkwardness. But yeah, it was one of those ones where the guy threw the ball, and I'm still whispering because I'm embarrassed for him. But everybody turned to each other and was like, "Oh my! Did you just see blank throw the ball? Oh my God! Oh my! Did he grow up around people? Did he grow up around guys at all? It was at the Man Show, no less. So it was especially uncomfortable.
Tony, you're back.
We're
Do you know
back.
how to
We
use
got
the
it
equipment
working
now.
Yeah, we got it working. We're going to pull up our whiteboard here so we can do a little bit of coaching for Mike. So the issue was on a game winner here, right? We had a guy in the corner. Oh, no, hold on a second.
Roll it.
This isn't humiliating.
Stop it.
For you,
Okay, so we have
Tony
our guy in the corner. I have the ball here at the top of the key.
Okay, the X is normally the defense, but go ahead.
You can do whatever you want. That's fine.
It's a weird defensive formation to be on the outside of the offensive player, but go ahead.
Looks like
no
he drew
ball.
a
Also, I'm man enough to admit I just learned that. I'm putting that in my notes.
Yeah, if you want to be really nitpicky about it, sure, fine, whatever.
These are just stick figure guys.
Not the point. So here's the issue, right? This is Mike right here. Mike is playing defense on a post defender. I've got the ball basically at the top of the key, and what I want to do is I want to work right this way because I know my guy is coming to pick here, and then once the moment that I have an open shot right here, I'm going up for the game winner because I had just hit one 2 minutes before that. So the issue was that Mike did not travel with his guy to get on the other side of the screen, right? So he stayed down low in no man's land at the free throw line and allowed me to shoot a shot. Mike, your rebuttal to that, because you stayed in no man's land, you got a shooter on you got to get over to be able to contest a shot, even if your guy's going to.
But you're a skilled player, Tony. You make the pass to the guy camping out right under the hoop. I got to make a choice.
Many times.
Now I did a half measure. I should have just scambled all the way. But yes, no, this was a teachable moment, and it was. After that, we went on an incredible run. Didn't lose a game.
So you just got to come up here and make sure that you seal so the shooter doesn't have that. Even if your guy's going to come around and you're worried about the shot here, your help side's got to be there.
Yeah,
to
my
stop
help side
that.
wasn't there. My help side wasn't there. I was aware enough to recognize that. And also, you have to imagine, I have the cardio of a 40-year-old man that hadn't played basketball in 15 years. So all in all, though, prime Dennis Rodman is a good starting point for a guy that's playing out there with real hoopers. Hey, guys, Tony, he's legit good. He's great. So much so that he is aware enough to know that next game he plays against me, he has to bang down inside because he has to adjust because I'm the X factor or the O factor. I don't know, Zaz. You tell me.
The X is the defense. The O is offense. Offense. Anyway, am I the only?
Boy, sounds like a great time though, Zaz. Huh? Tony yelling at you, coaching everybody. No, you should be over here. And Mike Ryan goes, I rebound good, and I'll check you 37 feet from the rim because I'm an old man now, and that's all I can do is defend you super hard. And boy, it sounds like a great night out. And Glenn out there making hay, raining threes down on Tony's head.
drawing up plays for the defense.
First
very
off,
confusing.
I didn't scream not one time.
Tony doesn't yell. Tony doesn't
didn't yell.
In the huddle, though, you could hear, man, tattoos is killing us.
Am I the only one who thinks that the finals are on the line tonight? And I never do this.
I don't think so anymore. Now that we've seen so many Game 7s, one on the road, I think that they can adjust still. Like if a team is down 2-0.
Oh, I'm not saying the finals end tonight, but I do feel like it's on the line tonight. Meaning,
all right, what is the difference?
Well, the difference is if the Knicks win tonight, I think they're going to win the championship.
Right.
If the Knicks win tonight, I think they have a chance of sweeping
So-
this series. If the Spurs win tonight, we got a series.
So if the Knicks win tonight, you think they sweep, but it doesn't end tonight if the Knicks win.
No, I am making that case. What are you confused about?
A minute ago, you were just like, it can't end tonight.
You lost me.
What? I lost you.
Yeah, you lost me.
You lost us.
This is gaslighting.
Does anyone else okay, let me start again. Does anyone else feel like the series is on the line tonight? Because if the Knicks win,
I do not feel that way.
Raise your hand, please, when you want to talk.
I do not feel that way because, teams can win on the road now and you can adjust.
I know teams can win on the road, but if the Knicks win tonight, I feel like they're not going to lose another game this series. If the Knicks win tonight, they'll have won 13 in a row. Well, rather unstoppable, okay? All of those wins except for one by double figures. They'll have won 13 in a row. They'll have won both games in San Antonio when we thought that San Antonio, Oklahoma City was for the NBA championship. And now the Knicks are coming back home. Like, if the Knicks, and the Knicks will have won 13 in a row, and you think that the Spurs are going to win 4 out of 5? There's no chance. So that's what I'm saying. If New York wins tonight, they're going to win the championship. If San Antonio wins tonight, okay, we got ourselves a series. That's all I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
It was well said.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm with you, Zaz, and I am somebody who, and I refuse to look it up to verify what my sense is, which is that in the 21st century, home field, home court, home ice advantage is a mirage. I think we have talked ourselves into that being super important. I don't think it is, but in this case, to your point, Zaz, I think it is. If the Spurs are down 0-2, and now, and I don't want to overstate it and swoon like Ben Stiller and all the rest of them up there, but going into MSG, the electricity in that joint for 22-year-old kids, and keep in mind, that's what Wemby and Castle and those cats all are, to go in there, it's too big a spot.
Yeah.
I don't think, well, what the hell is that? What the hell is that?
Well, what's
what are
going
we
on
doing here? You're demonizing me because you want to be a prime Rick Fox, Mike Ryan? I'm Ben Wallace. I rebound good and pick up basketball. I don't make any money for it, but Glenn respects my hard work.
Dave has big horns, and it looks like a weird-looking beard.
Oh, boy.
And now
like a wiener or
he
something.
has...
no.
Yeah, that's a penis.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's a penis. You got a penis on your face.
Oh, we are.
Yep.
It seems like some people down in Miami have some
Uncut.
growing.
Guys,
Yeah.
this is a Zeppelin.
He did
Get
not
your
have a
minds
bris.
out of together. Good year.
Oh, there. Oh, it wasn't a penis. It's a blimp.
Oh, thank God.
Oh, everything's
So that's
okay.
the cockpit at the front.
There you go.
Almost passed out from the vapors just in time.
Let me
accurate.
Let me make clear here. While if the Knicks win tonight, and I think they can, I don't think they will. If the Knicks win tonight, they're going to sweep this series. I think the Spurs are going to win tonight. And you know what? I'm man enough to admit that I was wrong. And the point that I'm making is when we had Nick Wright on a couple days ago, and I challenged him. I asked him about it, where Nick felt that it was going to be a thing that the Spurs are going to be like emotionally drained because of what happened against Oklahoma City. And I said, I think that's nonsense. I don't know. Maybe there is a little bit of, we come out in game number 1, you just came off this massive, emotionally draining series. Wembanyama, it means so much to him. He's crying at the end of the series, which I like. I don't think there's a problem with that. But maybe you do come out in game number 1, and maybe there was a little bit of an emotional letdown. Like, I pushed back on that with Nick, but I don't know. Maybe what? Why'd you write that?
That's undermining.
Maybe there is something to that.
You're making a good point. I couldn't tell because it said you were a cuck on the screen, but you were making good points. But the point being, when you look at, there's a stat that's been floating around. It's like teams that come off a game 7 versus teams that come off a sweep. The team that comes off the sweep is usually way better.
And the Knicks are 3-0 now this playoff in that scenario.
Right. So it's like you're looking at the evidence of, all right, these guys have been rested. These guys have been playing great basketball. These guys just came through a war of attrition with another team that was defending champions. And like, I don't know, but everything I see, like Prime Dennis Rodman next to me, is the Knicks playing together and playing rested, and the Spurs kind of playing a little bit too fast.
I think San Antonio is going to win tonight, and I think we're going to see that. Yeah, game 1 was a little bit of because Wembanyama had the low energy to start the game, and the reason I pushed back against maybe he's tired. Like we felt that after game 5 last series. It was awesome in game 6, awesome in game 7. They won them both. There have been a couple instances this playoff where, is Wembanyama tiring? And then the next game he comes out and he's gangbusters. And I think we're going to wind up seeing that tonight. I think Wembanyama is going to be really great. I do think, though, the unfortunate part of game 1, the NBA Finals are going to attract casual fans, right? Casual fans are just going to tune in, and it's like, it's the Finals, let's watch. I've been hearing a lot about this. It's a New York team. B, I've been hearing a lot about this Wembanyama. He's an alien, right? People definitely watched game 1, and were like, why aren't we talking about that guy, Karl Anthony Towns? Like, he's better than Wembanyama, right? Like, you're getting casual fans who are watching these teams essentially for the first time who think Towns is definitely a lot better than Wembanyama.
Tonight's the big one, right? Because the adjustment that Wemby makes against Cat and others, it's not just him. It's Mitch Johnson. It's like, what can you do to help get this guy going alongside everybody else? Because, yes, there are some things that Wemby will have to do from a physicality standpoint in terms of just making shots. But realistically, like, there was a lot done to him and done to that team, and they still had a chance to win with a couple of minutes left.
Yes, like the Spurs were bad. We could all admit
bad.
Right?
They were bad
in game 1. They were up by 14 in the third quarter.
They were up by 14 in the third quarter. They were up with 2 minutes to go.
Yes.
After being down by 8 just a couple of minutes earlier, they made the comeback first.
And like we're having this whole discussion yesterday about how the Knicks were terrible. The Knicks were terrible, and they still won game 1 on the road in the finals. And I feel like you could make the exact same case about San Antonio. San Antonio was terrible in game 1. They're not going to be worse than they were there. Wembanyama's likely not going to be worse than he was there. And they still, it's not like Wembanyama was great in 3 quarters and then he was bad in the fourth quarter. He was not good the whole game, and they were up by 14 in the third quarter.
And it was only when they took Wemby out, by the way, that the Knicks went on that run. Like, San Antonio dominated at the beginning of the game, which is something that they do often. The Knicks came out a little bit rusty. San Antonio's taken leads throughout. I mean, in that Thunder series, it felt like they got off to a good start in every single game. It was whether or not the Thunder came back. And now what you have going into the second half is, okay, if you take that lead again, Mitch Johnson, what are you going to do in terms of what your lineups look like in those Cornet minutes to make sure that New York doesn't come back and start to get going, not just because they get back into the game, but it was the first time their offense looked competent at all in that game. And Josh Hart started making his impact. So, what do you do about Jason Hart? I don't know.
The one thing you got to do is give Mike Brown credit. I think that he game planned in the middle of the game so perfectly where anytime Wemby was out on the floor, he would give Jalen Brunson a bit of a blow beforehand and then get him in when Wemby wasn't there so he could attack the rim in a way that he can't do when Wemby is there. So I was surprised. I was like, oh, wow, they're really playing the matchups well where anytime Wemby's off the floor, Brunson's able to create offense for himself in a way that he wasn't when he's there.
Do you care about the referees for Game 2 tonight? Now, we already had Scott Foster do Game number 1. He's the extender, all right? But that was, there's nothing to extend in Game 1, all right? But that could mean that we're going to see him again later on in the series if we got Game number 1. What if I told you that the crew chief tonight is Tony Brothers? Because he is. That'd have been weird if I said that, but he wasn't.
Yeah, if it was somebody else.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, that wasn't a fake out. He is the crew chief tonight.
I'm not too worried about it. I thought Wemby got a lot of calls. He kind of usually does. He's getting the superstar treatment at 13 free throws.
Yeah.
So it's like, can Wemby be aggressive enough to warrant that amount of free throws, or is he going to play a passive game from the outside? I think that's the issue.
Going to be a long 15 years, by the way, just as a side note, with Wemby's behavior at the foul line. Come on, let's pace it up, fella. The next decade and a half, we ain't got the time for you to take 9 seconds every single free throw. In the here and now, though, I'm fascinated by the analysis around, as you say, with the casual fans, and so much of the conversation around the Spurs is Wemby is just one guy. And he's just the whole team, as though the other guys, you just don't know who they are yet. The idea that Harper and otherwise aren't going to play themselves into our lives.
You just bailed on the rest of the teammates there? You said forget it? Just bailed on them? Harper and the rest of the guys?
I was going to start. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't like listing guys off.
Clearly.
Then that's all you're doing is reading a roster.
Yeah.
I do, though, wonder. We have assumed, or I have been a part of perpetuating the idea, if they get this one, the Spurs, it's going to be potentially like the next 3 or 5. But now I do wonder, let's say the Knickerbockers do get this one. Are we definitely sure that the Spurs are bound for dynasty at this point,
good question.
given the rules, the second apron, and everything else? We talked to Michelle Beadle a month ago and said, how many will be a satiating number of titles in the Wemby era? And she said, did she say 4? Did she say 3?
She said 4.
I can't remember.
4. She expects 4.
They're not going to be keeping all those cats, right?
It's a good question. It's normally a debate that I don't like having because the way the pendulum swings in these NBA playoff series, like we're talking right now, I'm talking right now, like the Knicks, even though I picked the Spurs to win the series, we're talking right now like the Knicks have a chance of sweeping the series. But if the Spurs come out and they win tonight, which I expect them to, we're then going to get back to, this series is going to go exactly how we all thought it would, which is it's a long series. It's going to be a classic series. It's probably going to go 7, and either team can win. So, we now have if the Knicks win the series or the Knicks sweep the series, are we sure that the Spurs are going to be this dynasty that we've all been talking about? I think it's a good question, but we could totally be feeling a completely different way by the end of tonight where the Spurs win and we're like, this is expected, and the Spurs are still going to win the series.
Well, here's the scenario for you. Knicks win this one. Then OKC trades for Giannis. Then they become the favorite to come out of the West. And now we're getting down the road of the Spurs, who are an inevitable dynasty, not having even won a title yet.
Why aren't we talking about can the Knicks be a dynasty?
Well, a fair point. Yeah.
They're on pace to win their 3rd trophy just this season.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, that's a treble winner, folks.
X and O it for us, Tony.
Tony?
Or O and exit.
Tony, I am going to come to you now. It is your time to shine. Do you have a top 5 for us for tonight's game?
Top 5 things to look forward to in tonight's game, boys.
All right.
Number 5, no OLI. What can the Spurs do about their bench? Obviously, Dylan Harper has been playing decent minutes, played 28 minutes last game. Got to play probably in the mid-30s if the Spurs really want a chance to win, but nobody else on their bench gave them anything. 6th man of the year, like you said, Zaz. Keldon Johnson better than Jaime Jaquez Jr. Didn't show
so
it,
much better.
Didn't show it yesterday or a couple days ago. So they need something from their bench because Harper's going to play a lot more minutes. I think probably at the cost of De'Aaron Fox.
Got to get a little something from Cornette.
You got to get something from the
Not
traffic
offensively,
cone.
defensively. You got to get something from Cornette.
Spurs bench needs to come up in this game big if they want to win.
Okay.
Number 4, Cat needs to stay aggressive. Don't just stay back there and fall in love with the 3-ball. Wemby can't guard you. You're too big. You're too fast. Get around him. Pin your ears down. Get downhill on Wemby. Create foul trouble for him. Like, that's the recipe for Cat staying aggressive, going to the hoop.
I don't think we're going to see Wembanyama on Karl Anthony Towns very much tonight. It's a disaster for San Antonio. And I like Karl Anthony Towns. I'm just going to say that. Like, I know Karl Anthony Towns is someone who gets a lot of shit from the Knicks fan. The Knicks fan was trying to trade him after they were trailing 2-1 to Atlanta. Karl Anthony Towns has done nothing but win over the last few years. The last 3 consecutive seasons. Last year in New York, the previous 2 at Minnesota. He's in the conference finals every year. And now this year he's in the NBA finals. I don't appreciate the things that you're drawing on the screen, but I am a fan of Karl Anthony Towns. If the Knicks win, I am going to be happy for him.
Number 3. The Knicks need to win the 2-big lineup. When you put Mitchell Robinson in there, you need to be able to overcome his offensive limitations. But if he can grab offensive boards at the clip that he usually does and how he has grabbed them against the Spurs
Like Mike
in
Ryan.
the past, like Mike Ryan, if you had Mike Ryan in there in the 2-big lineup with him and Cat, he'd be grabbing boards like a mofo. So they need to win the 2-big lineup.
Chris, what are you all excited about over there?
Just, living life. I did go 80-2 and 82-0 a couple minutes ago.
So you're doing that while doing the show?
Well, I'm just, I'm 2-bird situation.
Is
But
it?
Yes, I
What
did
the
go.
hell?
I mean, ever since Ever since Dan went 82-0, I just have been addicted to this game, and I haven't come close until I just went 80-2.
You saw that yesterday, right, Dave? Where the very first time we had Dan play 82-0, we did it live on the air. We used the screen for the game so everyone could see us playing it live, and Dan went 82-0 first try.
I think, listen, in this cynical world we live in, every once in a while you got to remind people who you are, and I thought that was a masterful moment there. Yes,
Now some
no
people
more questions about Dan Le Batard's right to weigh in on whatever he wants in the world of sports for at least the next decade.
Now some people thought it was rigged. That was and that's why I said yesterday, is there any way that people would think that we rigged it? Why would anyone say it was rigged? Like we did it live on the air. Yeah, it was absolutely. Now, if you want to say, you shouldn't be allowed to use the respins, team era. You shouldn't be doing classic mode where if you're using the stats,
a lot
it's
of that. I
cheating.
saw a lot of, why don't you use IQ?
Right,
Buddy, because
right.
it's Dan, and he'll bail on the bit in 2 seconds if he sees
Right.
Bob Pettit.
Right. Okay.
I just had Bob Pettit on one of my teams.
Rest in peace, by the way.
Andy Pettit.
Dave, have you played 82-0 yet?
I haven't. I've been consumed by Geosports. Are you familiar with that?
No,
The
what's that?
Question
What's
daily?
that? What's that?
Well, it's all the rage as well. Amidst this 82-0, it's 5 questions daily that you get, and basically you have to put a marker down. There you go on the big blue marble to ID the location that he's calling for in a sports-related question. It's fun. Let's do it as a gang right now, shall we?
All right, sure. Do you want to lead us along here, Dave? Because I don't know the game.
I can't read it. The words are too small. Go ahead. Taché, did you type this one out there with the tiny words so no one could read them? What does it say? What's the question?
What say you, Taché?
Feh.
The question, I'm being told, it's very small, but it's ESPN has been broadcasting from its headquarters since 1989, and it's essentially asking where is ESPN's broadcast headquarters.
Oh, Zaz, this is your wheelhouse. You should be able to put that within a couple of miles.
It's
Bristol, Connecticut.
Oh, so it's Bristol, Connecticut, but I have to actually use the mouse and point to it?
Yeah, you put the
wow.
marker
I
down,
can find
right,
it. Zoom
with
in.
the push
I
of
got
a
it.
button.
Zoom in Connecticut. I live
would
there.
have
I got it.
no idea
Tony,
where
you
Connecticut
gotta
is.
I got it.
able to
Zoom
nail
in.
this
Zoom
too.
in on Connecticut. It's
Well, how do you know that that's Connecticut?
Because what do you mean? Because I live
Well,
there.
you've already clicked it.
I live there. I know exactly.
Hold
where
on a second, Mike. Why are you looking at me like that? If I gave you a map, you know which one's Connecticut?
Yeah.
I don't have a clue.
I can
Seriously?
tell.
There
Oh,
are so many small little states
You
up
don't
there.
know what state is which state. You couldn't write in the name of every state.
Not in the Northeast. No, I have no idea which one's Connecticut, New York, New Jersey.
You have no idea what New York is?
Nope. I know the vicinity.
It does get a little dicey when you get to New Hampshire.
I have no idea what any of those states are. I have no idea which.
You know
is
that
which.
little one? You know the little one?
Rhode Island?
Yeah.
But where is it? I don't know where it is.
It's
To the right. It's to the
next
right.
to Connecticut. To the right.
I'm going to New York tonight. I know I'm going to a general vicinity in the northeast of the United States. I don't know exactly where.
Where's Scranton?
I don't know any of those
further
states.
down to the west. All right, so if you zoom in on Connecticut, New Haven's on the bottom, which is why you can take the train over to New York City. So you got to go a little bit north and a little bit west.
All right.
If you don't zoom in on it, I can't show you because we're in the Rocky Mountains right now. So,
all right, try it again. Tell them again.
Number 2. Besides Christmas, it's pace for the Knicks. That's how you slow down Wemby. Just continue to push the pace. Run. Get in transition. Quick baskets. If the ball goes through the hoop, you push through. That's the physicality, yes, will wear on him, but running him up and down is what really gets Wemby tired, according to Jeremy Sohan.
So, Dave, you play this game every day?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's been around for only a couple of weeks now.
The next question is, Ashton Genty rushed for X amount of yards from this place. Do you know where that is?
We should all be able to know that one with the blue turf. I don't know exactly, though, where in the state of Idaho, the capital.
If I gave you this map, you know which state is Idaho?
Of course.
Oh, I don't know.
So we all do,
Did you
right?
not
Come
take
on.
geography
I'm not
in
trying
school?
to be. I'm not trying to be an ass, but come on. We all know what Idaho is, right?
I went to Santa Fe. Lay off.
I have no idea which one of those. I know around what part of the country Idaho might be in, but I don't know which one's Idaho.
So they weren't doing floor hockey and they weren't doing geography. What the hell was going on in Florida's public schools?
Let me ask you something. Why do I need to know?
Good point. You ever going to go to Idaho?
I've gotten this far. Why do I need to know?
But listen, don't dance for the man. Don't be a cuck for the man, please. Listen, this jive about what we need to know, what he decided we needed to know. Math is the great place to evaluate this. Yeah, we need to know how to add. We need to know how to subtract. I can make a case that the multiplication tables make life a little bit easier for you as a grown-up going forward. Up to 10, up to 12, you should be able to do your long division. I don't know how much I've really used a lot of long division as a grown-up. After that, what the hell are we doing? Who needs algebra? Who needs any of that crap? Just hours of my life flushed down the toilet because the man decided I needed to know that crap. Geography, where you're going. Now that's useful stuff.
I like this guy. Number 1, Jalen Brunson versus Area 51. Now, for some of you people that don't know Area 51, that's what they call Wemby and Stephon Castle. Area 51, the aliens.
Skip Bayless redubbed him, though, the Earthling.
The Earthling, I know. This was prior to me.
That might
making
catch
this
on.
list.
I don't know.
Yeah. So Jalen Brunson did great against Julian Champagnie, did great against Devin Vassell, but against guys not named those two names, he was not very good. So I want to see how he's going to react to Stephon Castle guarding him, to Fox, to Wemby in the paint, all of those guys. That's going to be the key for tonight.
I'm
Hey guys, we're about to go live. Lock in right after the game on the Le Batard Network YouTube page. Lock in.
Hey, we're going live.
I don't know why we were so silly today.
Right, because it's fun when we together.
Yeah, I know.
The Stanley Cup Final continues, and we will watch Game 3 together as the Hockey Show Watch-Along presented by DraftKings. It's Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Final between Vegas and Carolina. You can watch Game 3 with us on Saturday at 8 p.m. Rosie.
I am giving you my Saturday, people, so you better watch.
Yeah. I mean, her weekends are
very, very sacred.
Very sacred and very special.
Yep.
That's Game 3 of the Stanley Cup Final between Vegas and Carolina. You can watch it with us. It's the Stanley Cup Final, and we are watching it together, presented by DraftKings.
Nick, before we let you talk about the Steelers, you're in luck because we have the Love Doctor. The Love Doctor is here. He is ready. He is in his office right now. Dr. Greg Cody getting everybody ready for Mother's Day this weekend. And we have questions. The Love Doctor is going to have the answers. Who's up first?
I know a lot of people are going to come to you and they're going to want to know, how do you keep it interesting? Me, I'm not interested in interesting. So how do you keep it predictable? How do you keep it ho-hum? How do you just let it just be?
Was that Jason Tatum asking that question?
Young lady, you are my kind of gal. That's my lane. That's my lane of romance. I invented predictable. Nobody has perfected the art of dull routine like yours truly. As a matter of fact, little inside information here, my wife and I schedule our naughty time months in advance, like doctor's appointments. Quite often, she'll have to cancel because she said something came up. Unfortunately, sometimes I'll have to cancel because something didn't come up. That kind of thing.
It's a good look for us.
Do we have another question for the Love Doctor here after such great advice?
With Chris listening.
Oh, we're doing it, baby.
What are you guys doing, man?
Oh, you want question number 2?
Yeah, let's go question number 2.
Oh, yeah, Greg. Hey, man, I need your help, man. So I'm out of town for Mother's Day, trying to figure out what can I get my girl for Mother's Day in another city.
Oh, wow. Buddy, I'm worried about this. Not one, but 2 of the Love Doctor's marriages began rending like cheap fabric when Greg was either out of town at a sporting event or away at a doctoral conference. And the exes were doing the clandestine bumpy bump behind my back. Jack, I suggest you get your girl what you'd never expect, a private eye to keep an eye on her randy ass.
You know about that Randy ass, Nick?
I don't like this at all.
Thank you, Love Doctor. Don't go anywhere. We may go back to you. Appreciate you.
I don't like this at all.
Somehow, the least embarrassing Cody on today's show.
Wait till Nick finds out that Chris, with Greg sitting nearby, admitted about a half an hour ago that when he's having a hard time becoming aroused, he thinks of his wife's twin sister to get in the mood.
It was a shocking revelation.
That's what happened, Nick.
Shocking.
That happened.
Yeah, he did.
No, he did.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did. He did.
It was shocking.
Unnecessary also.
I don't like... This isn't... Again, I might need a mean here. This isn't K-Fab. K-Fabe?
K-Fabe.
Which is it? I don't know.
K-Fabe, wrestling nerd here at your service.
This isn't...
Zaz could have helped
Thanks,
there.
Mike Ryan. This isn't K-Fabe. I don't like this at all. And I would appreciate if you guys turned the music off. This is not great.
So the Steelers.
Are you ready to do your catchphrases? I heard there's some...
Zaz, I know you're going to New York this weekend.
Tonight.
Yeah, and you're going to see Every Brilliant Thing, right?
I am.
The play. So you're seeing Mariska Hargitay.
Yep.
I saw Daniel Radcliffe do it, and I'm excited because this weekend as well is the Tony Awards. Not the 10-day Tony Awards, but the Tony Awards, and Daniel Radcliffe is nominated for a Tony for his performance in Every Brilliant Thing. And for me personally, I'm excited because if he wins for Best Actor in a Play, that could mean I've seen a Tony Award winner 4 different Tony Award winners in the last 3 years. I saw Jeremy Strong a couple of years ago in his play that he did.
What an
I
achievement.
saw Jonathan Groff and Darren Criss each win Tonys back-to-back years for their shows. But with the Tony Awards, like, I'm super pumped because Rose Byrne is nominated for
Rose
Best
Byrne.
Actress in a Play.
Love Rose Byrne.
She just lost on the Oscar. Maybe she can win the Tony for her other performance.
You know about Damages? Great show.
There's also Casey Levy, who's nominated for one of her performances in a musical, and Next to Normal is free to stream right now. If you're a musical fan, you should go stream Next to Normal, her performance on the West End and that. But there's all sorts of awesome stuff coming up at the Tony Awards, including one of my favorite performers, Rachel Zegler. They're getting the cast. How about this? They're getting the cast of Book of Mormon back together.
Oh.
Our boy, Josh Gad, South Florida's own. Huge South Florida sports fan. He's performing. Andrew Reynolds is performing.
Olaf!
I love it. I cannot wait to just have a drink with my wife and watch the Tony Awards. I personally think that that's worth a toast.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Guys.
All right.
And the Tony Awards are worth a toast. Worth a Toast is presented by Cuervo. Keep it fun
Cuervo.
and keep it Cuervo.
Excellent job, Cuervo. How about that? Did you?
I think there should be a Tony Awards, a 10-day Tony Awards. Tony, give out an award, or did you already by honoring Mike for trying hard?
I gave Mike Defensive Player of the Year award for our runs on Thursdays at a specific undisclosed location that none of you are ever invited to ever.
You know what?
I just wish you were awake to receive it.
You know what I want Tony to do? Tony, forget about giving out award. I want to get back to Tony giving the graduation advice. Okay, earlier we mentioned how Dave Damashek went to a 5th grade graduation. Last night I went to an 8th grade graduation. I'm at my son's 8th grade graduation last night. We invited my mother. My mother turns and goes, "Do you remember your kindergarten graduation?" I'm like, "Yeah, I remember it so well. It was an amazing day. I remember like it was yesterday." So there are all kinds of like, do I remember my kindergarten graduation? So
Definitely wasn't in Idaho. We know that.
I have no idea where Idaho is. So it's graduation season. Graduation's going on over, and everyone wants advice. Tony, I want to send you out. Go get your, what is it? Your robe and hat?
Yeah, robe and hat.
Yeah, not to be
procured
confused
both, by
with
the way.
cap and gown. Robe, can we send you out there? Go get your robe and hat on and come to you for the graduation
Absolutely.
advice for our outgoing seniors. All right, so we're going to send Tony out there. Let us know when you're ready, and you'll set everybody up with the good advice. So it is Friday, and that means it's essentially summertime. Every week you got big movies coming out. If we're doing big movie, not a big movie, that'd be interesting. Big movies are coming out every week. Have you seen the trailer? Am I the only one who's excited?
Trailers.
For Masters of the Universe. That's He-Man. You know about that He-Man?
I used to love that cartoon growing up.
Oh.
And Jared Leto's in this movie.
He is.
And typically if Jared Leto is in a movie,
He's terrible.
It's bad news at the box office and generally
Bad
bad
news
news
for the box office.
critically. I'm such a Masters of the Universe superfan that my very first pet, her name was She-Ra.
Is that right?
Yeah, and you know who She-Ra was.
Well, she's the Princess of Power.
Love him like a pet.
I got to tell you something. I'm very pumped up about this He-Man movie, He-Man Masters of the Universe. The original He-Man Masters of the Universe, I think it was 1987. I think I was 6 years old.
Dolph Lundgren.
Dolph Lundgren played He-Man. That's
Cannon.
right. Courtney Cox was in it too. She was a made-up character, wasn't. Frank Langella was Skeletor.
Wow. Yes.
I remember seeing. I remember. That's so funny. I remember seeing that movie in the theaters. I was 6 years old. What a movie! I mean, terrible on Rotten Tomatoes, like 27%. But what a movie! So obviously, I'm super excited. It's a major part of my childhood. He-Man, all right? And they're finally making a new He-Man movie. We're talking.
They're finally
almost 30 years later.
Right pronouns this time.
And I'm excited about it. And the more I've seen of like the trailer, I'm like, this movie's gonna be shit. It's not. There's no way it's not gonna be good. But the Rotten Tomatoes scores are out, man, and they're high. The Rotten Tomatoes media score is a 69% certified fresh, which is so much higher than I thought it would be. The audience score, Mike, 88%.
I imagine this is a crowd pleaser if you're a fan of the lore. But it's been a while since He-Man.
Idris Elba's in this one.
Like, you gotta be. That's like coming out with a Huckleberry Hound reboot. Like,
well,
you're
you know
old.
what? You're making a good point because I'm going to force my younger son, my 14-year-old. We're tight. We do everything together. I'm forcing him to come see this with me so I don't have to go see it by myself. And the reason I say I'm forcing him to see it with me is because I'm like, hey, man, we're going to go see the new He-Man movie. And he's like, I don't know anything about He-Man.
I think that's actually a benefit. I think the reason it's having so much, like, I don't know anything about He-Man.
Oh.
And so for people 30 and under, or 31 and under, for those of us who are at that age, like, it's going to feel like a new story, which I think is probably why it's having so much success, because this is a superhero that we don't know anything about.
Well, and I saw it now again. It's Jared Leto who's playing Skeletor, so you really got to be careful because he sucks in general. But I some in the trailer I have seen, they make Skeletor apparently pretty close to the source material, where, like, if you watch the cartoon, Skeletor was, like, kind of goofy. And apparently that is what they're doing in this movie. What's her name? Brie Olson, is that her name? I always get the names confused. She was in Mad Men. She's married to Franco. She's married to Dave Franco.
Yeah, Brie Larson.
Brie Larson. Is Brie Olson the one who played, like, Captain Marvel? Is that her name? Or am I thinking of the porn star?
Wait.
Brie Larson played
Allison
Captain Marvel.
Brie.
That's what you're thinking.
Allison Brie. Allison Brie plays Evil Lynn in this movie. We like Allison Brie. Are you laughing because I thought she was Captain Marvel or the porn star?
I was laughing because I was like, I've never heard that name before. I'm not at all familiar with Brie Olson.
Can I Google this on my work computer?
So I'm excited to see this movie.
I think actually to Mike's point about Huckleberry Hound, which is a great pull, is that He-Man has been forgotten about long enough that all the homoeroticism jokes that people used to make about He-Man and all of that have been forgotten, and now we can resurrect this fresh. It's different than Fantastic Four, which is intentionally. He-Man is not intentionally homoerotic. Fantastic Four, I have long contended, is a gay parable. It is...
really?
You know, well, think it through. The Fantastic Four. Fantastic. And first of all, it's you know, Mr. Fantastic. He can reach anywhere. And then there's the Thing. And then there's the Human Torch, whose catchphrase is "Flame on." And then the only woman is invisible.
Huh.
So I went incognito mode and just Googled.
The Thing.
Zaz was right.
What's her name?
Well,
I always get it confused. I can never remember.
Brie Olson.
Brie Olson.
I know her.
Brie Olson's the actress that, you know, is you got to do incognito mode on the computer.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Brie Larson is Captain Marvel,
Right.
And Allison Brie is Evil Lynn and He-Man.
Which one's Alexis, Texas?
Can we go out to Tony here? Tony has he is ready.
Brie is good in an omelet if you haven't tried it. Put a little brie cheese in your next omelet.
Tony apparently is ready in his robe and hat. Everybody knows, not a cap and gown. He looks like a wizard. In a robe and hat is Tony, who has graduation. You look like a wizard.
You look like the Pope.
Thank
You do.
Thank you. Well, they asked me, all right, can we get a robe and a hat? And I said, all right, this is what we got. I have a couple of hats that I can cycle through if you guys want. Do you
Nope,
like this
that's
one?
perfect.
Like the Pope.
Perfect. So, Tony, it's your time to shine. We would like some advice for the outgoing seniors, the graduates. They are stepping into the real world.
Gotcha. Okay, so this is a senior graduation because he talked about a 5th grade graduation, then an 8th grade graduation, a kindergarten graduation. First off, my first point to the seniors, you guys already gone through 4 graduations. Congratulations. This is incredible. Your 4th and final one. Until you get to college, then you got to go to graduation then again. Then we all have to go do this whole thing all over again. So, first and foremost, this graduation doesn't mean
Wow, why are we
anything.
playing Macho Man's theme song?
Just in case he comes out and hits me with something. I want to go back to a simpler time. You're graduating in 2026. Incredible job. Again, one more graduation to go, probably in 4 years. A lot of you are going to take 5 or 6. A lot of you aren't going to go to college. I would say to the ones that aren't going to college, you're doing the right thing. College is a thing of a bygone era.
You never hear that.
Speaking of a bygone era, I like Dave's assessment earlier on the show, talking about things that used to be back in the day. You know what? You used to be able to go outside and be unsearchable, untraceable. You would go out and play in the woods or play at the park or play with your friends in the front yard. We need to go back to that, Jack. Okay, we got too much AI and technology in your phone and this and that, and the stoplight's recording me when I'm driving through. No. Let's go back, okay? Let's go back to the beginning. Let's go back to having autonomy with ourselves, making things with your hands, going out into the garage and pumping some iron, drinking a couple beers with your friends. All of those things are important. You know what's not important? the math you just learned, Algebra 1, Algebra 2,
Shocking.
trigonometry, whatever it was for the man to keep you down underneath their thumb. Dave, can I get an amen there?
Amen.
You know, they used to teach us proper things in school. Now they're just teaching us how to cheat, how to use ChatGPT or some other large language model. And that's how all you guys passed, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that, except now that there's no jobs because all the data centers are taking everybody's time, treasure, and water. So going into the future, say no to the man. Don't get a corporate job. Go out and find yourself some tools. Go make something handy. Go make something of yourself and have fun in the process. Is that too doom and gloom?
Nice hat, asshole.
That's the Pope, sir.
There you go. In his robe and hat. Oh, no, he's changing his hat. He got embarrassed. He's putting on a new hat. And
How
now,
about this? Is this better?
Now he's a cowboy.
You're an asshole.
Okay, hold on. Let me switch. Hold on.
He's changing the cowboy hat
tell
out
him,
now.
Woody.
What's he going to pull?
How about this one? Is this one better?
No, because it must be green because
No,
it's
it is
being
green. Dog.
blacked
It's
out
like a
by
Mardi
the
Gras
green
hat. Hold on.
screen.
It's a Mardi Gras hat. Hold
Yeah.
on. Hold on.
That was a tough look.
Hold on. I'm working here. Hold on. Give me another one.
It's a nice robe, though.
This
no
one
one's
reminds
asking
me
you
of
to change
Dave
out of that.
Damashek. This is a Dave Damashek hat.
Nice chat with you.
I don't know what that's supposed to mean.
All right. Good job, Tony. You can come back now. Everyone is very inspired with your graduation advice.
Zaz,
yeah.
we talked on Football America a number of weeks ago
Yeah.
about the literal hi-hat that the carver at the end of the buffet line,
Yeah.
he carves you your roast beef and whatever.
Sure.
I mean, this guy is appropriately wearing a hi-hat because he's so Spartan with meat that isn't his, by the way. It's the man's meat, you know, but he's carving it for the man because that's his job to do it. What does he get out of it about only giving me like half a sliver of meat? Why do I have to play the role of the glutton and say, can I get an extra piece there? Can you give me one more so I don't have to get up again in 6 minutes and come and get another? Just give me an extra slice of meat. Like, okay. And then they're always put out by having to do it like, yes, sir. And then they carve you another one like you're like you've asked for too much at an all-you-can-eat buffet. Is it too much to ask to have more than a half a slice of meat?
Is that the one that bothers you the most? You know, like when you're at a service like that where it clearly doesn't, or at least it shouldn't matter to the guy who is serving you behind the counter. It's all like you've already paid for it. Is that the one that bothers you the most where the dude skimps? Like, what does it affect you? Give me more.
I went to I was in a, I'm sorry, this is revealing, but
Go
I
on.
went into a liquor store. I went into a liquor store last weekend with my 19-year-old daughter. They don't card you as you walk in California, apparently. But she was with me as I grabbed something from there, and I went to the counter to pay for it, and they said, sorry, sir, you're not allowed to buy that unless she shows her ID as well.
Oh, wow.
Pointing at my daughter, and I said, why? And I'm buying this. And she said, well, and the woman behind the counter said, well, she helped you make that choice, and so therefore we can't allow you to buy that. And I said, by what standard is that the case? That she looked at it, so she can't, so now I can't purchase it because her brain somehow absorbed? It was wild. So that trumps maybe the hi-hat guy, but I'm going to have to deal with the hi-hat guy for the rest of my life, so I am pre-angry at him for the next visit I have.
I must admit, though, I get where the liquor store is coming from.
Nah, I would have told her, fat.
No, that looks like you're buying it for her.
So what? What's it their
Well,
business?
that would
if
be
I'm 21
underage
years
drinking,
of age?
Dave. That would be underage drinking.
You need an ID
But
to
how
get...
are they culpable in that? So you're going to reject the business on behalf of the man? The woman behind the counter wasn't making any money either way, other than what she was getting paid on an hourly basis to be there. So what standard is she applying there? Well, you had a 19-year-old with you, so I'm not going to let you buy this booze, even though you're.
Well, why wouldn't they tell you that when
you're
she?
30?
Why would they tell
you're
you that when she
37
walked
years
in the
of age,
door?
Dave.
Like I know that they're not carding her when she walks in, but if they're not going to let you purchase it without her ID, like why didn't they say something immediately?
Because everybody's got to prove that they hold some residency up on Mount Pius, apparently. Everybody's got to let you know, like, I'm going to look down on you, a regular person, because I have this little bit of power that allows me access to Mount Pius for a little while. And so I'm going to flex the muscle that I have here. It's all gross.
So in California, you need an ID to buy liquor, but not to vote. Okay. Okay, that's how we're doing things. Gotcha.
Tony, can you explain to me here?
I just realized something, by the way, in my commencement speech. I told everybody to be Ted Kaczynski, basically. My bad about that.
Can you explain to me what's happening with Kevin Durant? So Kevin Durant, who is notoriously private, apparently was caught by paparazzi last night out to dinner with a young lady, an unidentified young lady. And Durant, who, again, notoriously private, upon seeing the paparazzi, he apparently got very shy, and he was, if we could have the video team pull this up, he got very shy and he decided to hide in the bushes.
Yeah, it's going to take you a second to actually find KD, because you're looking around, you're like, all right, in the bushes, there's like a bonsai tree in the back. And then you look up on the bush, and then you see the semblance of some sort of Kangol hat, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I see KD's eyes. Can we zoom up there about 7 feet in the air to where his security guard or some other patron of the
like when I
restaurant
first
is
saw
walking
the picture, I saw the woman and I saw this guy. I don't know who the hell he is, but he must be a security, maybe security. I don't know. And then it says that Kevin Durant hid behind the bushes until their car arrived, which they then entered together. I had to then go back to the picture. Where was Kevin Durant? And you could see right there.
My
you could
bad,
see
fisherman's beanie.
like
not-
half his
not
face,
Kangol.
and he's got a skull cap on, and there he is hiding in the bushes.
I mean, he plays in front of 20,000 fans every single night. He has an audience of millions on social media, but yet going to Nobu and Malibu is the last straw of trying to be pictured. Weird.
Like, how does that
Weird, right,
conversation
Dave?
go? Where like he's out there with the girl, and she's like, "What are you doing? You wait for the car."
Yeah,
I'm
what the
gonna
hell? Why was that bad form? He lets her twist.
Yeah.
She's now got to answer.
I'm
all
gonna
the
go hide in the
questions.
bushes.
Couldn't. He let her stand out there. So now people are going to set about figuring out who she is, and now she's going to have to answer questions.
Couldn't this also
for
just be
him in the coming days?
This could be an unfair edit if we put it back up. When
No
you see,
way.
This could just be him walking behind her in like a depth
Walking
perception thing with the bush.
behind the
like,
bush?
I get in the still shot. Like the bush could be.
You
like,
think just in the middle of the parking lot there's a random bush?
I think no. This is clearly like a valet area.
No,
where there's,
I
like, an
understand.
Like pass, there could be bushes around there. There could be a driveway like on the other side of that.
But
bush.
he's cutting through bushes.
I'm just saying this could be a depth perception thing.
Yeah,
he
he
could just be walking by that Dave.
Let me see it again. Let me see it again here if Chris is on to something. Is there a random bush just in the middle of the valet?
There's no way.
I mean, just the idea though that the picture you guys are painting is him leering
Hiding
over a
behind the
bush.
bush. Yes,
like
that's
as if the paparazzi isn't going to take a photo of him 5 seconds later.
No, in Chris's defense here, I do see a world where maybe there's a sidewalk that Kevin Durant is walking on. Our depth perception is screwed up here. The bush that he seems to be hiding behind is closer on one side of the sidewalk, and the other bonsai tree or whatever that is on the other side of the sidewalk. So he's actually in the process of walking through these two bushes.
We're just trying to be fair.
That looks like a curb more than it does a sidewalk.
If you know anything about
though.
me, I like to be fair.
Yeah, it does.
It looks like
It
a
does.
curb that he's
Green
kind of hiding
bush
behind.
between the two of them looks frighteningly like the state of Idaho.
I wouldn't know.
Please.
I wouldn't
pull
know.
it up and look at how much it looks like the state of Idaho. Maybe we can do a side-by-side comparison. Look at that.
It does.
It's Idaho.
Ringing any bells, Az?
No. I don't have a clue.
Well,
What's the next question in this Geo game that Dave Damashek has introduced us to? What's the next question? We did a question on where's ESPN's headquarters. Tony
Mike,
found
did
that
you
for
see
us.
Idaho in the background though? You
I
saw
did.
that,
Yeah,
right?
no,
The
that was a
shape of
great
the bush?
show.
Okay.
Well, that was for Ashton Genty, where he accumulated all of his collegiate rushing yards. Do we have another? Oh, I think the next question was the Lakers before they moved to Los Angeles won 5 championships in this city. Right now, of course, that is.
I don't like that city whatsoever.
That's Minneapolis.
I
Now,
had such a nice time there.
Now
I bet you did.
I'm very good at finding states.
Yes, all right. Go over to Somalia.
I think I know the area that Minnesota is. I think, but I'm not 100% sure.
Not Minneapolis. The
No,
state
no.
of Minnesota.
I would not have a clue. You think I should know where Minneapolis is on the map?
Back out a little bit.
I think you should know where the
more
state
east.
of Minnesota is.
A bit more.
Across the pond.
Is it
They
like
call it
next
the
to
Dark
Michigan?
Continent.
Lewis is the one that's actually answering the questions. He got 100 on that one.
Oh,
Well, think about Zaz.
I like this game.
Sports Yeah, sports should guide you, at least get you in the ballpark here. What are the rivalries in the Big Ten? Who is Minnesota's chief rival in the Big Ten? It's Wisconsin, right?
Okay.
So that should help you find Minnesota in the continental U.S.
All right. I don't know about that.
No?
Nah, whatever.
Okay.
So, game 2 tonight of the NBA Finals, once again in San Antonio. And my question is, we saw the fan who ran onto the court, which, again, I don't understand. So I'll ask Dave this, because I asked you guys, and no one gave me a good enough answer. So I'll ask Dave now. The fan ran onto the court. He was immediately scooped up by security. And then, later on in the night, his video of him running onto the floor, he was recording himself, was posted on social media for everyone to see. I don't understand. Wouldn't the first thing you do if you're security after you rush him off the court is take the phone and delete the footage so that he doesn't actually get to have the thing that he tried to do? Why wouldn't they delete
You don't
his
have the
footage?
right. You don't have the right to take someone's phone and delete.
He doesn't
something.
have the right to trespass and run on the floor.
But there's a whole, you arrest somebody, that doesn't mean I know that in this instance he's clearly guilty because they got him on the floor. But it's there's a whole process. You can't just you think a security guard at a restaurant has the jurisdiction at a stadium has the jurisdiction to just delete something?
Who cares?
What do you mean, who cares?
What
There are
hap- what hap-
rules. We live in a society.
What happens when he does that? He ends up going, oh my God, they went into my photos. They deleted the video that I took illegally. What happens? What happens?
Zaz.
He
We
committed
don't
a
need
crime.
more people pretending to be cops in our society.
Yeah,
Security
exactly.
guards have no business taking the phone out of your hand and all of that.
He committed a crime.
Okay, that's not the security guard.
Yeah, but there's a process.
Just get him off the floor. That's it.
I can't believe I'm. What if he ran to the court and he punched Wembanyama right in the face? You got a problem with them taking the video
if
away?
If the lady at the liquor store had him, she would have deleted the phone and broken it and all of that because she has to dance for the man apparently.
I can't believe I'm on my own on this.
You should be on your own. I think even if he punched Wemby in the face, it doesn't mean you can delete the video.
Zaz,
you can't just take property.
Turn it into your kid at Rolling Loud a month ago.
Yeah.
He's videotaping the kids with the trash cans and crazy shit's happening. And security guard comes up to him, it's like, hey, you can't videotape here. And he snatches his phone. And all of a sudden you have the story. My son told me that some security guard snatched his phone, deleted a video. You're happy with this? We can't have security guards deleting videos.
Who knew Zaz and Mike were narcs? Mike coming down on me, judging me for bringing my 9. I agree.
They don't know that's your daughter.
I happen to agree.
And even if it is your daughter,
employee at the liquor
just makes
store.
it more like you.
I play great defense. I happen to play great defense myself in basketball, so I appreciate that woman playing defense for the law.
Fair. I mean, do it like everybody else does. Talk about it in the car, then you go in, you buy it, and then you sneak it in, and then you say, have fun, honey. You can't bring her in there. I mean, they're cameras.
So the liquor store wants me to
Was
leave.
she not a dog? I'm leaving her in the car?
That's what the
She's a
liquor
human
store wants.
being.
You want me to leave my 8-year-old daughter in the car with her running? That's it. That's a good option. Thanks, liquor store.
Guys, don't do this. You're putting the cashier in a terrible spot. That's the rule. If someone's underage, you don't sell them alcohol, and if you suspect it could be a scenario in which someone older is buying them alcohol, that's a classic high school scheme. You can't be doing that.
Apparently, being a cuck is contagious in that studio.
Chris,
I'm not a cuck. I am prime Dennis Rodman.
Chris, I wouldn't like if they took my son's phone, especially considering he didn't commit a crime.
That's a gray area right there.
There wasn't a crime committed
Can't have
either
security
here.
guards snatching phones, Zaz.
Thanks to a valiant cashier that said, I'm sorry, no one's above the law here. I know it's California, and you hippies do whatever you want, but we got rules.
I'm legitimately stunned that I'm by myself on this one.
You think it's the responsibility of the security guard making $20 an hour to take the phone from this person who did this, who, by the way, is another conversation, is getting away with this and laughing while they're dragging him off the floor is only going to inspire more of this. But you think that the move of the security guard for, like I say, for his $20 an hour should include deleting a video?
Why
the hell
not?
are you talking about?
Why not? Why not?
Because we're not all participating in the man's surveillance state. What are you suggesting?
I'm suggesting
ratting on each other.
No, I'm
This is
suggesting
where we are?
trying to stop
Soviet
this
now?
from ever happening again because it's dangerous. I mean, I don't need to remind everyone Monica Seles, right? Would we have taken the phone away from the guy who stabbed Monica Seles? Like, this is dangerous. Running onto the floor.
You're coming across like a crazy person.
I am?
But if anything, the video that he took is like evidence. Like the idea that a security guard
The
takes
evidence
this-
is the
But it's
television.
just the idea that it's like delete that video. That video can show where he was before. Like it's like that's part of the case. Delete the video. A security guard. Like what? You know anything about law?
Also, 20,000 witnesses.
Right. Like, we all know what happened. It didn't only happen because they didn't take away his phone.
But he ain't a cop. We don't need people pretending to be a cop out in
That's
the world.
right.
We don't need more people doing it. What are you talking about, Zaz?
So what? So where do we draw the line then? Like, those weren't cops that rushed him off the floor.
Well, I got great news. You're never going to have to deal with it again with that guy because the next morning it was announced that that guy banned from NBA games for the rest of his life.
So that's another
never
thing,
mind
right?
Never mind the fact that this is a completely impossible standard
Right.
to set for all ticket rippers for the next, 40 to 70 years. Be on the lookout for this cat. If he shows up in San Antonio or Sacramento or Idaho somewhere, don't worry, Zaz won't find him there. But we will find him and ban him from getting into our arena.
You're
right?
so right. I would take it a step further, Dave. I think he could show up at the Spurs game tonight and still get in.
I think that would be the funniest thing ever. And I'm not supporting criminal behavior necessarily, but I would see, because it's not exactly a U.S. law, it's just an NBA rule, which is not commensurate with actual law. I would go to the stadium if I could, get into the arena and take a selfie, and then as soon as the game ended, post it and say, "Your move, Silver."
You're right, though. I don't understand these fans who get banned because they're acting a fool and run onto the field or the court or whatever. They're really not able to get back into a game ever again. Like, how does anyone stop that?
I cannot. I'm not on your level, guys. I don't understand this at all. You know why no one rushes the field at the University of Miami? Because we all think we die. We all think we die.
By whose hand?
By the police's hand. And the people stop it.
Well, that's not a great environment. You think the police are going to kill you?
And the
yes.
The visual of a prime Dennis Rodman running onto a Miami Hurricanes game.
Oh my God! Yeah, look,
Mitchell Robinson.
I've been talking around it. There's some privilege going on over here with Dave Damashek's view of the world lately. The guy's breaking laws left and right.
What are you talking about?
Yeah. What? I can't. I can't buy alcohol with a 19-year-old. I can't run onto a court and come back. Like, this is extremely privileged, guys.
I've run out onto football fields before. When I was matriculating, I went out there. I participated in tearing down goalposts. You know, now that's an evil in me.
At Indiana, back when you were in school, they had that opportunity.
Well, if they won a game, it was possible to storm the field.
Roy,
I would love to see.
Wait. The game's over, and we have more. The other
That's
team.
Destruction of public property.
We're ahead by 2, and the game is over. Oh, let's get down on the field. Who knows when we'll have this opportunity again?
I think
Johnny.
I think rushing the field is. I get that, but it's dangerous, and I understand both perspectives. I think the tearing down of the goalpost is it's just dumb. We won. Let's break shit. I don't like that. Go home or go to your car, slam a few down with your boys, have a couple of Miller Lights, take your first sip, look around, say, yeah, this was the right decision. This is what the summer moments are all about, and then chill.
Do you maintain 2 homes, one in Miami and one up on Mount Pius, or do you just Airbnb when you want to head up there to cast a judgment on regular people?
If the Miami Hurricanes win the national championship, I cannot fathom a thought that's like, yeah, let's break some shit.
Let's burn down the city I love.
Hey, let's destroy stuff and cost people money.
I'll never
I
understand
don't
that.
advocate for destruction. I think it's very weird the reflected powers somehow result in, hey, our sports town. Let's burn it to the
It's
ground
so
because we just
weird.
won is very weird.
Like, wouldn't you?
I agree with that.
I'll never understand the rioting after you win a championship. Like, if anything, win the championship.
Go on.
And then go to the city you just beat and burn their city down.
I like that.
Okay.
We won, and we're going to burn your city. Why would we burn our own city down?
Okay, so the guy who looks like a cop is advocating. Hey,
I know you're not talking about me.
I'm anti anyone celebrating their championship too hard, and I should be
I'm anti-riot.
I should be able to take your phone, your property,
I'm
and
shocked I'm alone
delete
on
things off of your phone.
Yeah, that are criminal activities, yeah.
Criminal activities.
Yes, that's right.
It's literally evidence.
Even if it's
You
not
know how
evidence.
trials work.
Even if it was an actual police officer who
know
was
what's the
taking this guy
evidence?
off the floor, he shouldn't be able to
The
delete things
game
from his
being
property.
broadcast on ABC around
That's
the
where
world.
you catch 4 seconds
That's
of it.
the evidence.
What about where he's running onto the court, like back in the?
I don't understand just the approach. Like, let me just cost people money. That I think it's super disrespectful. Look, I am a partner in a dive bar, and it took a real long time for me to deprogram people writing on walls and putting stickers on stuff. I was there. There's stickers everywhere, mind you, that pre-existed my ownership. But I'm over there. I see somebody putting a sticker on the pool table. I'm like, hey man, I mean, do I go to your dining room table and put a cool S on it? I don't do that. I don't
Tearing down goalposts is not equivalent. That's a fun little celebration at the school's expense, and it's a nice moment of togetherness and rejoicing about your university. So I think it's kind of worth the hit to the school. Obviously, you don't want anyone to get hurt, but I mean, now we do park our cars in the same garage on Mount Pius or otherwise. Me, Zaz, and Dennis Rodman in his prime.
Thank you.
With
a dash of Mitchell
I don't
Robinson.
get what the answer is, Zaz, to your question is, though. I think the sociology or psychology of it is, we won. We're the best. We're now officially above the law. You cannot you cannot restrain anything that I want to do, even if it's completely irrational. That's why it happens, but it's still super weird.
Let's
burn it to the
it's
ground,
terrible.
flip cop cars over.
There's this guy that puts stickers everywhere. His name is Info, and it's not like a cool sticker. It just says his name, Info, and it's everywhere in Miami. Now that I've told you, you're gonna look
Spelled
at
with
it.
an E at the end,
with
by
an
the
E
way.
at the end. Hey, Info, we got it. We're aware you exist.
You do great work.
Yeah, you did. It's fine. I don't need 8 of them. All right,
Zaz, you
This is
have to ask
absurd.
yourself now, for the rest of your life, who do you want to be? Which is the path you want to choose? A life of privilege, or a life of self-relegation, like Mike Ryan chooses to live? Like, let's pick up basketball, but Seth says that I shouldn't shoot because I don't shoot as good as he does, so I'm just going to rebound.
I'm just
the rest of this
look,
pickup game with zero stakes.
You applying a little baby voice, being a considerate human being, doesn't make it uncool, brother. Treat others as you'd like to be treated, and you can say it with bass in your voice.
They don't want you to shoot.
Oh,
They don't want you
I like to
shoot,
follow
but
the
you let them
rules.
shoot.
I don't like to break the law. I'm such a sissy. Get out of here. I'm cool, brother. I play it super cool. I follow the law.
I saw apparently
I
that
rebound.
I saw apparently that
You need guys to get rebounds, all right? Everybody wants to hang out on the perimeter. Everybody's like, all right, let's just have fun and jack it up from outside. Someone's got to go underneath and set you up for second chance points.
Not
hey,
in
you
pickup
like shooting?
basketball,
Here's
you don't.
another one.
Not in pickup
Yeah,
basketball.
what?
Let somebody else wants it
you
to be
put
a
it up.
cut.
You
Let it
missed.
be a cut.
It be like that sometimes. Don't worry, brother. I'll get it at the highest point. I'll kick it right back to you. Look, I think you're shooting 33% from the field. Here's 1 out of 3. There it goes. Up 2-1.
I'm going to go out. I'm going out for a night of fun. Can I serve you your drinks? What the hell kind of standard?
that ball
what
went
are you
off
talking
me.
About? You went out for a night of fun, and you didn't shoot the
I
ball
fouled him.
at all?
I
mean,
fouled him.
that-
I fouled him. Because you know why? Because I fouled him. And not just like like you
You
can get
did
away
have
with a
one
little
fault
something.
they didn't call. They should have called
Oh,
that fault.
I got hit in the face. But I'm a tough guy. Prime Dennis Rodman.
Well, the worst guy in basketball and pickup basketball is the guy who we've already covered, like who pulls his socks up too high and is probably a little old, probably the oldest guy out there, and he defends you 37 feet from the rim. Like, will you get away from me? What do you think? I'm going to shoot the ball from here. But yes, second place, to your point, Mike, is my bad guy. the my bad guy, and it happens at the highest level of sport. You know, everybody, like you see Wemby on down, like, oh, my bad. Like, yeah, it wasn't in question. It was your bad. We all knew it was your bad. Is the my bad guy? Is there ever a doubt about whose bad it was? Why do they have to acknowledge, oh, what a hero he is? He pointed at himself and agreed with the rest of us who have eyes.
Kids, you want to know what's really cool? Paying your taxes. Not skirting the lines. Not expensing that trip you probably had no business expensing. Because without order, there's chaos. You need people like me. Guys that live between the lines. Guys that go up and catch the ball at their highest point and toss it back out to you. You made a mistake. That's all right. I'm there to erase it. Because I am why you live in a society.
The cuck life.
That's not a cuck life. Stop with this branding. I'm just a normal, law-abiding citizen, and that's cool.
Cut the sequel.
A clown, I amuse you. I make you laugh. I'm here to fucking amuse you. What do you mean funny? Funny how? How am I funny?
Oh, I like that.
It's Danny
DeVito. I'm close to that one. He plays a lawyer.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, he does.
He does.
He does.
In My Cousin Vinny.
Exactly.
My Cousin Vinny.
No, that is not
wrong movie.
It's not My Cousin Vinny.
I thought it was he's playing a lawyer.
You were right on that.
That's Goodfellas. That's not My Cousin Vinny. That's Goodfellas.
He stars in both of them.
My cousin
Vinny's
is on the right track. Two Utes.
That's My Cousin Vinny.
Two Utes.
Okay.
Play another one for him.
Half credit.
No credit.
Half credit.
You called this guy Danny DeVito earlier.
0 credit.
All right, here's the next one.
I am your father.
Star Wars.
Which one?
Which one?
Oh, come on.
That's close enough.
Number
That's
one.
No, it's not.
There's
It's
12
not
of
close
them.
enough.
The
There's
original
12 of
one.
them.
No, that's not it.
Welcome back to Morally Abhorrent, an occasional, quote, situation, as Dan Le Batard calls it, on the Dan Le Batard Show. And I am very happy to introduce our co-creator, the former talisman of Morally Abhorrent, Chris Whittingham. Welcome back. Look, I got you in the graphic, Whitty. I got you in the graphic.
We're back.
Yeah.
Is this the graphic from 2022 or is this a whole new graphic?
Well, it is a repurpose. It's the same headshot from
Yes.
2022. Same, moral atrocities, different nation.
Different nation.
Same funny moral confliction, but whole new country. And we are honored to have you here. Hopefully the graphic, is good in place of the money I might have promised you. But Chris Whittingham, who doesn't really have any platforms to talk soccer anyways, he's just happy for the opportunity to return home to the Dan Le Batard Show. Chris, any life updates? First off, why don't I give you an opportunity to plug your very illustrious list of possible platforms that the people can catch you on this summer?
I mean, it's really only CBS. We'll be on every day. I think we have 13 hours of coverage scheduled throughout the tournament, which is going to be pretty wild throughout the day. But I'm actually going to Kansas City for the opening game of the tournament, for the opening game for the U.S. of the tournament, because we're going to be from the Power and Light District at one of those bars where thousands of people get together. So, yeah, CBS Sports Golazo Network on CBS Sports Golazo YouTube and Instagram and TikTok and all that good stuff. We'll be covering the World Cup right the way through it.
So, for those of you that don't know, Chris Whittingham left the Dan Le Batard Show to pursue his dream of being an OnlyFans butthole model. But after that came and went, he decided to fall back to calling games, and he has called some big-time games, most recently called the Women's Champions League Final. We are so proud of Chris and really glad that he still has a good enough humor for me to say something like OnlyFans butthole model, knowing that it's probably the reason why he's not calling any of these World Cup games.
Yeah, maybe. But I will say I am disappointed that original career pivot did not work out. I really gave it an honest go, but just couldn't quite find the traction on OnlyFans that I was looking for.
Yeah, quite literally. For my money, good butthole. Good butthole. But
Why
not
did
great.
you say it in the
Not great.
Zaslow cadence?
Good
Why did you say it in the Zaslow cadence?
Good butthole. So Chris Whittingham and I are actually going to talk some soccer. And look, we've done this before. We've done some content. We got a nice little banter thing going. And we are now oligarch free. So
yes,
that's a bonus, I guess. Although
no big hand, no heavy hand over us.
Although, God, do I miss that oligarch. An oligarch with a heart of gold. Or at least we can concede, perhaps the best of the oligarchs. I always liked a fantasy book that he was actually a secret agent. More on that in a future episode of Morally Abhorrent.
The funny thing is you're one of the rare sports fans that has the ability to compare oligarch versus private equity. And so far, oligarch is winning, and winning by a lot.
Yes, but I am a reigning world champion and will be for the next 3 years, so please keep that in mind. Don't ask me about the trophy ceremony. There is a reason why it's still called Morally Abhorrent. So, for you in the audience today, the last episode that we had Tom Bogert, Chris's colleague over at the Golazo Network, and we did a U.S. men's national team intensive preview episode. And Chris, I'm going to get you in here to talk plenty of U.S. when we preview their group, but you are the biggest soccer expert I know. I respect you immensely, and I thought it would be fun to catch the layman, the casual sports fan, the person that maybe has drifted away from the game a little bit. Look, hand to God, I hate VAR. It's kind of ruined the game a little bit for me. And also, I kind of miss the oligarch a little bit. Let's be real. So I had to bone up, and I watched plenty of Chris Whittingham in the last few months and plenty of Golazo, and I got to tell you, you are such a great ambassador and caretaker of this sport, and I wanted to bring you in so we can have a macro view of all these groups. We're going to try to preview every single one of these groups, groups A through L. We're going to try to get as much as we can in 5-minute doses here, and Chris knows all about soccer, and we're going to try to make some predictions here. And for those that don't know, this World Cup format makes predicting who gets out of the groups really difficult. Why don't you tell the people why?
So we have expanded from 32 to 48 teams, which means that in order to have an even number of teams that can play each other in the knockout round, there are third-place teams that will get through. However, not all of the third-place teams. So what will happen is there are 12 groups of 4. The top 2 teams in each group will advance, but the third-place teams will sort of go into a standings, and whoever has the 8 best records of the 12 teams that finish third will advance to the round of 32 to play a group winner at some point. So you have to basically accrue a number of points and have not a bad enough goal difference in order to survive to the next round.
So it makes this very, very tricky. So I'm not exactly sure how we're going to discuss that part of this. I guess we'll kind of earmark teams for potential advancement in that upper tier of third-place finishers. But let's get into it right away. There are 3 host nations here for this World Cup. The U.S. has the majority of the games, but Mexico. I don't know if you saw this. Did you see the view from that stadium in Monterrey, Mexico?
In Monterrey? No, I haven't.
Have you
Tell me about
this?
it.
Have you seen
Is there
this?
a mountain? Is there a mountain?
There's a mountain. There's a mountain. Yeah, it's stunning. There is that is a running joke in American soccer that every month or so a new aggregator finds the stadium picture from Monterrey. Oh, you got to see it. It's one of the wonders of the world. Mexico is a host nation. They are the headliner in Group A. They get the host benefit of being in Pod A. So a flatter track, a better draw, especially when we get to the knockout fixtures. They are in a group with South Africa. That is your kickoff match. That is the first match that we see in this tournament. Also, South Korea, pretty good nation when it comes to soccer, and Czechia. So this is a very difficult, very interesting group, and match day 1 is hugely important. Chris, 5 minutes on the clock. What do you got on Group A?
So I'm going to start with Mexico. I think that over the course of the last 2 years, really, they have really course corrected into a good place. If you go from the last World Cup, they bring in a manager who was at the most successful club in Mexico at the time, in Atlas, and Diego Coca. He lasted like a few games. They get rid of him. They bring in the under-23s coach. They get rid of him, and they go back to a tried and tested manager and Javier Aguirre. They call him Vasco Aguirre. I think this is his 3rd World Cup that he's managed for Mexico. I think his first one was in 2002. So he goes all the way back with his national team, and he kind of has them playing more traditionally Mexican soccer, what you would come to expect from a Mexico team. And I think they have the pieces that can come together. Raul Jimenez will be the main player up front that I think their entire World Cup rests upon, but they've got some pretty good other players. The player to watch here, this is sort of the one you can impress your friends with, is Gilberto Mora. 17 years of age, plays for Tijuana, and there is a lot of expectation that he is off to Europe after this World Cup, that he's going to go to one of the big clubs. Some people have called him, including our friend Michele Giannone, who's in our group chat, the best Mexican player that has ever been developed at youth level. Better than Cuauhtémoc Blanco, better than Chicharito Hernandez. So this is a Mexican player that a lot of things are expected of, and he might have a breakout tournament. I have them as pretty significantly the best team of the group, not only because of the talent, but because they're playing at home. I think we're going to go back to the old days, Mike. Do you remember when you used to watch qualifiers and the United States were playing away at the Azteca, and you're thinking, holy shit, we'd love to get away from here with a draw? I think that's what it's going to be like for Mexico in these first, potentially, if they win the group, 5 games of the tournament that they would play at home. So I think that home field advantage is going to be massive for them.
For Mexico, I have optimism envy because they are now at a place where they feel like they can make actually a deep run and make some noise in this tournament. And that's where we were all hoping for as Americans to be when 2026 was first announced. Their arrows pointing up. I know Senegal just happened, and maybe that arrow's turning the other direction, but right now, the vibes are really, really good around Mexico, and that is a 180 from where we were just a couple of years ago. Real quickly, how was that achieved for Mexico?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it really is sort of getting back to sort of your traditional roots. And I think you have a couple of good developmental projects, I think, in midfield in particular, obviously with Mora, but Alexis Vega, Awai, Julian Quiñones has shown well. But I just think they're a little bit more defensively solid. One of the things that happened was in the previous 2 years, they tried to attack, they tried to be more enterprising, and they just gave cheap goals away. Now, that isn't to say that they're completely immune from this stuff. I think against higher level opposition, we saw them play against Colombia and get smashed 4-0. But I think they have become a little bit more defensively solid. They have a few younger players that have developed. Should we focus a little bit on the rest of this group? I can't imagine we have a great deal of time for it.
Absolutely.
So let's get to
I absolutely do. But I wanted to give Mexico their proper shine as a host nation.
Sure.
But yeah, we have some pretty interesting soccer nations here. Why don't you go with in chronological order here for the group? South Africa, South Korea, Czechia. Give it to me.
Yeah, so I've actually watched video on all these teams. So for South Africa, they're a bit of a one-man team. Basically, when they played at the Africa Cup of Nations in January, it was Lyle Foster up front, who plays for Burnley, and not a great deal else. It is a lot of players for the soccer sickos. I know a little bit about African club football. It's a lot of Orlando Pirates, and it's a lot of Mamelodi Sundowns in this team. But otherwise, not a great deal of footballing talent. From a South Korea perspective, we actually saw them play really well against the United States. The headline maker is Son Heung-min, but there are tons of other pretty solid players, including Hwan Hee-chang, who's had some good minutes in the Premier League. Primarily for Wolves. So I actually kind of like the South Korea team to finish second. And again, if we're talking about projections, this is one of the groups where I actually have the third place team going out. I think it's going to be in this order: Mexico, South Korea, South Africa, and Czechia to finish last. And I have South Africa as that third team who is not going to advance. I only have 2 teams making it out of this group.
Wow, that was expertly done. And believe it or not, under 5 minutes. Chris Whittingham, fantastic. All right, we head over to Group B. Another one of the three host nations, Canada, led by an American in Jesse Marsh. Some name recognition from a soccer nation that continues to improve. This is an interesting group. Some hotly contested matches in this group, I reckon, Chris.
Yeah, so I think you have to start with Canada as the team that, as you mentioned, is one of the host nations, has an American coach, and has really embarked over the last 10 years, really, of becoming a genuine, serious soccer nation. It starts with John Herdman, their women's national team, taking over. Now, there was, of course, a scandal in which he was implicated in flying drones over opposition training sessions. That has sort of marred his achievements, but even still, in the 2022 World Cup cycle, it was a genuine achievement, not only to qualify for the World Cup, they actually finished top of the qualifying group with the United States and Mexico before taking 0 points at 2022. But obviously, as with all of the other hosts, the key for them has been developing players and getting to a high level in the period in between 2022 and 2026, and they have done a reasonable job at that. And all of a sudden, you look at a group of players. You start with Jonathan David up front, their record goal scorer in the history of the country, who has had 3 or 4 really good seasons in Ligue 1 as a goal scorer of at least 15 to 20 goals. He moves to Juventus this past season. It doesn't quite work out for him, so that really is the worry that he didn't take that next step to a bigger club, but still their record player and will definitely have a big role. The question, though, about this tournament, comparing to 2022. In 2022, they came out and tried to play with some of the bigger teams, and they kind of got smacked. Their manager talked some trash, particularly against Belgium, and they lost by a heavy margin. Jesse Marsh is going to do the same thing. He's going to attack, he's going to high press, and do what he always does. The question is, do they have the underlying talent? And then the real big issue for Canada is the health of Alphonso Davies, who is the best player that has ever been developed by Canadian soccer by a considerable margin. He's been the left back at Bayern Munich for 6 or 7 years now, was the record sale out of MLS when he was 18 years old, going from Vancouver over to Bayern Munich. But he's had recurring health issues that go back probably a year and a half now, and he is going to miss their opening game of the World Cup against Bosnia and Herzegovina. So the goal for them is to win that first game even without him and give themselves a chance in the remainder of this group.
So you mentioned Bosnia. Obviously, I had my heart set on Italy being in this group in place of this nation. More stars on Italy. The casual observer recognizes that brand, but Bosnia is not a team to sneeze at whatsoever. This is a team that is hell to play against. What do you think of their chances?
Yeah, I think Bosnia, one of the other things that sort of aided them in that game against Italy is they were playing at home. And I think that home atmosphere that they created, the fact that they've really got the one big player that's still out there doing it, and Edin Dzeko at 39 years old is still delivering a high level of performance for them. They've added to it with a few players from around the region. They've got a few players particularly playing in Germany. And the one name that Americans can maybe sort of claim a little bit is Esmir Bayraktarovic. He was a youth national team player for the United States. In the end, I was actually reading about him because he plays for New England, used to play for New England, got sold. He actually kind of feels more Bosnian at heart. He's someone who grew up in sort of the Bosnian tradition and sort of always wanted to play. His dream was to play with Edin Dzeko because he grew up watching him, and now he's going to provide crosses to him. He's a really good deliverer of set pieces from those corner areas. So Bosnia are definitely a team that will try to contend. I don't believe in predicting out this group, I have them finishing in third.
All right. Well, also the Trinidad and Tobago legacy advantage of being two nations that you have to play. Can you imagine how unfair?
It's very difficult.
Yeah.
Play St. Kitts and Nevis, Trinidad and Tobago, Bosnia Herzegovina. It's a tough old task.
Yeah, but let's turn our attention to our old friends, the former, most recent host nation, Qatar.
They have not really gotten on. So here's the crazy thing about Qatar. They're one of the worst teams of this tournament by any measure.
Well, Chris, respectfully, that's not the crazy thing about Qatar.
Well, the crazy thing about Qatar, when we look at it in a purely footballing point of view, in any possible respect, this is one of the worst teams in the tournament. They haven't necessarily, even though they've naturalized a bunch of citizens from other countries and have tried to build up their program, they actually have a recognizable manager in Julen Lopetegui. They have not really been able to kick on and compete at a real level when it comes to sort of this top level of competition. That being said, They've won back-to-back Asian Cups. They are the reigning champions of Asia when it comes to international tournaments. So they can perform well at times in tournament settings, but I think the taste that they left in everyone's mouth as the host nation in 2022, I remember kind of saying, I don't know, maybe Qatar as a host nation, obviously, if anything is going to be tilted in their favor, it would be this home World Cup. But I don't know. I don't see a great deal of much happening. I have them finishing bottom of the group.
And now we close with top to bottom, the best team in this group in Switzerland. How do you forecast them in this group? I assume group winners, but you never know with a host nation, Canada, that can be scrappy, all tied to Alphonso Davies' fitness. That's going to be a big match between those two nations. That probably determines who wins this. Give the audience some players to watch for there, and what do you think about their general prospects in this tournament?
I look at that midfield and I see a great deal of talent and a great deal of quality in it, starting with Granit Xhaka, who people thought wasn't heading for good things when he was at Arsenal, but had a fantastic run at Bayer Leverkusen when they went unbeaten in the Bundesliga. And then he's actually gone on and played really well for Sunderland as well, as they stayed in the top half of the league and actually finished in European football for a newly promoted team in the Premier League. You then move on to Ardan Yashari, who did not have a good season at Milan, but was, a 40 million euro prospect that they paid for. You look at Remo Freuler, who's had a good run of it at Bologna, Dennis Zakaria in midfield. So they've got a lot of options. In the forward areas, I'd watch out for Dan Ndoye, who had a really good season playing in Serie A before moving over to Nottingham Forest. So he didn't quite hit the ground running as much, but still a player that I rate really highly and has played really well for them in international competition at the Euros. Was one of the players I most enjoyed watching. So Switzerland have some pretty solid players, and I agree with you. I think they're the most talented team in this group. I think they're the best team in this group, and the only way that they don't win it is if Canada ride the crest of being the host nation and end up sort of emotionally getting their way to the top of the group. But I see Switzerland as by far the team with the most bona fides here.
To Group C we go, and I low-key love this group. I am so dialed to Haiti, Scotland. You have no idea.
Yes.
I have so much writing on this one particular match as well. But look, Morocco were the Cinderellas of the last tournament. Loads of talent on that team. And Brazil, yes, this is a North American tournament. Brazil tends to do really well in those, but while they're a legacy brand, qualifying wasn't what we've grown accustomed to, and there really isn't the same type of quality that you might be used to coming into a World Cup tournament. So can you please tell me some of the hurdles that have faced Brazil along the way and how you forecast them?
Well, I think the biggest hurdle for them is that no one has taken on the mantle from Neymar. And Neymar, a lot of fans still want him to be out there, even though he doesn't really play football anymore. He's always hurt.
Do you ever want to be anywhere that's not a poker den?
Right, exactly. A poker den or a McDonald's at 2 a.m. Like, that's what Neymar is.
After the poker den.
Right, exactly. After the poker den. And so when he was at PSG, Kylian Mbappe, questioned his professionalism and sort of his ability to, get some sleep and be in good shape. These are the basics. And yet still, the Brazil fans harken back to a time when he was one of the very best players in the world, and they think that he can still do that in the yellow shirt. And the reason why I think so many Brazil fans are desperate for him to come back is because no one's really replaced him as the guy. So the guy that should be in that position is Vinicius Jr. at Real Madrid. But the problem is that he hasn't really been able to hit those heights in a Brazil shirt. He still is delivering. I think this year is 22 goals and 16 assists in all competition for Real Madrid. He's a fantastic player who probably should have won the Ballon d'Or 2 seasons ago. But the problem is that when he didn't win it, he spiraled, and he just hasn't been able to carry the burden. He has 9 goals in 48 games for Brazil. It is nowhere near the level. And then you start looking around the team. Are there other players to pick up the slack? Rafinha is fantastic for Barcelona, but again, it's not the same level for Brazil. Right through the team, you look through a bunch of players that are really good for their clubs, but don't deliver for Brazil. So what's the problem there? I don't know. And that is the job for Carlo Ancelotti, the manager, who, of course, is one of the most decorated coaches in the history of the club game, but this is his first go at international soccer. So the fact that he has never done this before sort of leaves that question if he's going to be able to do it with this Seleção.
Yeah, Ancelotti, well-respected, can probably get the best out of Vinicius and tap into that previous form. Having trouble lining, you mentioned Mbappe, Maybe that has a lot to do with some of the struggles that Vinicius has had over at Real Madrid. But I look at this roster selection. You mentioned Neymar. That was controversial. The fans really wanted it. João Pedro seems to be able to really help this team. A world champion with Chelsea, was very good in that Club World Cup. Had a solid season despite Chelsea's up and down nature. Why didn't he make this squad for this World Cup, especially when they could really use him?
Yeah, your guess is as good as mine. I really don't know the answer to this. And if the answer is, well, because we took Neymar instead, I kind of think that's ridiculous. I kind of think that if you're looking at where players are right now, and Neymar had a good few months with Santos, but then the exact same problem that always creeps up with him happens. He has a calf injury. He's going to miss the 2 weeks of build up to the World Cup. Is he going to be ready for their opener? I don't know, but that opener's against Morocco. And Morocco are a damn good team. They were semifinalists at the last World Cup that, depending on your perspective, are either the champions of Africa or are not. But I don't understand why you wouldn't give yourself the best chance. Now, maybe Ancelotti decides, I'm not going to pick him. I'm not going to start him. And so why bring him? I'd rather bring somebody else. But that was a real shocker to me. I don't understand the thinking there.
I think this group, despite not being labeled group of death or getting the fanfare, the matches are going to be close, sneaky close in this group. So tell me a little bit about Morocco's chances. It's going to be hard for them to recreate the magic of 3.5 years ago, but they've got loads of talent. This is no fluke from Morocco.
No question. I mean, you go back to not only, getting to the final of the Africa Cup of Nations, getting to the semifinal of the World Cup, they're also bronze medalists at the Olympics in 2024, which indicates that there's a pipeline, which indicates that they invest a ton in football. They also have done really well to naturalize people with Moroccan heritage from other countries, namely Brahim Diaz, who's been, one of the top level players for them, plays for Real Madrid. But this is a team that is loaded with talent, and that's only going to get better. The big story for them is the Africa Cup of Nations final, in which they were playing at home. There was a lot of questions throughout the tournament about the refereeing decisions that were going in their favor. They get another one in the final, and the Senegal players got so mad, and they thought it was so corrupt that they walked off the field and didn't return to the field for 20 minutes. And so the Morocco player, Brahim Diaz, who was meant to take the penalty, was just kind of standing there waiting to take this penalty. And then we finally get back to play, and he misses it. And then they go to a penalty shootout, and Senegal ended up winning on the day. After the fact, the African Federation decides, well, because of that, because you walked off the field in protest, this result is now null and void. You forfeited, and Morocco were the champions of Africa by default, and they have like that 3-0 scoreline next to them. Now, throughout that tournament, they weren't playing very well, and they actually sacked their manager. They sacked the manager that got them to the semifinal of the World Cup because they felt that in their pipeline, the head coach of their U23s was ready to take over. So he's now in charge, but this is his first real go. He'll have had 4 games in charge of Morocco by the time this thing kicks off, the 4th of which will be in New Jersey against Norway in a friendly on Saturday. But I don't know. I think this is a really interesting one to call on a talent basis and on a cohesion basis. I can see them as actually better than Brazil, but I don't know. All this chaos might get in the way.
I think you and I both have Morocco and Brazil getting out of this group, but one of the games of consequence that might really affect the next stage is sneaky Scotland and Haiti. And Haiti, if you've watched them recently, they play some exciting ball. And in North America, as we've learned from Gold Cups down here, they can be feisty. What do you make of that match?
Yeah, well, that match, so this is one of the great things about this World Cup. Because of the third places getting in, it actually more often is the games among the worst teams in the group that'll end up being the most interesting. Because if you're Scotland or if you're Haiti, the only chance you have of getting through to the knockout stage is to win this game, because you're probably not going to beat either Brazil or Morocco. So you have to win this game. And so it creates opening weekend of the World Cup, Saturday night, 9 p.m. at Foxborough Stadium. It is going to be Haiti and Scotland. Now, you mentioned that incredible performance they put in against New Zealand in a friendly. There's just something that feels like a bit of a one-off to me. There was a great crowd there in support of Haiti, and I imagine the American-based Haitians will be out in full force for that game. But also the Tartan Army is going to be out in full force for Scotland. Yeah. They haven't made the World Cup since 1998, and they got here in the craziest fashion, winning on the final day of the qualifying group with a goal from the halfway line, with an overhead kick from Scott McTominay. It was absolute madness for them to get here. So I think those fans are going to bring it too. So yeah, I think kind of low-key the game of the group stage is Scotland-Haiti in the opening game of the group stage.
Oh, I'm camping out already. already. You can already hear that pink skin sizzling. Welcome, Scotland. Excited about it. Now, Tom and I covered the U.S. Extensively. I think it's fair to say that you have them coming out of the group, even though that's not guaranteed. That's a spoiler. And trust me, Whitty, we're going to get your voice on plenty of U.S. analysis after their first match. But let's turn our attention, in the interest of time, to Paraguay, Australia, and Turkey, as some people are calling it. It's Turkey, man. It's Turkey.
I think they rebranded on account of probably not being the top Google result for Turkey.
It's Czech Republic and it's Turkey. Come on.
Okay, now who's the one being morally abhorrent now? You're not respectful of other people's
I'm
cultures.
40. This comes with the territory.
Okay, so let's start with Turkey because I actually think that right now, I have them to win this group. Now, I am getting a little bit into delusion land when it comes to the United States. I was that excited about their performance against
Time-honored
Senegal
tradition.
on Sunday. Yes,
Don't worry,
I'm
Germany's
ready.
coming.
Right, exactly. But now, if they play well against Germany, if they beat Germany, I'm all in. I'm all in. So I think when it comes to Turkey, I just think that they have a few really high-level players that are just at that level above what the United States has to offer. There are three guys. Hakan Çalhanoğlu in midfield, who is one of those mainstays. He's been there for forever. Got converted from being an attacking player into more of a defense-minded midfielder, but distributing from deep is as good as it gets. Has that long-distance strike, which is valuable at a World Cup. You kind of have to score goals from lower probability chances at a tournament like a World Cup. Kenan Yildiz for Juventus is absolutely fantastic. I get the joy of watching him week in, week out covering Serie A at CBS. He is fantastic. And then Arda Güler, who is really on the rise at Real Madrid.
Terrific
So when you
player.
have those three guys anchoring your team, it's kind of difficult to see through them. The problem is that going all the way back to Euro 2020, people have sort of said, oh, watch out for Turkey, but then they never actually end up delivering. So it is going to be incumbent upon this group to actually do that. I have them right now to win the group pending the U.S. result against Germany and my level of delusion. But yeah, I have Turkey on top and the USA second. I went for Paraguay third. I think them and Ecuador are similar stories. So Ecuador do it at a higher level. Incredibly defense-minded. They're going to be behind the ball. They're going to let you have it. They're going to kick you. They're going to try and shorten the game. They're going to try and frustrate a team like the United States in their first game of the group. And the question is, do they have the one or two moments? Diego Gomez, the former Inter Miami player, now at Brighton in the Premier League, Julio Enciso, who is, I believe, signed by Chelsea and played for Strasbourg last season. They've got a few, two or three guys that can try and make the difference in a game, but ultimately it comes down to, can they be defensively solid enough to frustrate you? Keep it at 0-0 and maybe nick a goal on the counter.
Yeah, that first match for the U.S. is fascinating, just not because of how important it is for their prospects, but Paraguay kind of plays a style that I wish the U.S. plays, and the U.S. plays a style that is susceptible to that counterattacking style of Paraguay, so it's a very dangerous match. Let's move over to Group E, where look, it's a girl on the couch meme. Everyone's going to tee off on Curacao here. I feel bad for them. But we got Germany, Curacao, Ivory Coast, and Ecuador, which, if you're looking for a Cinderella, could be that here in a North American World Cup. What say you?
By the way, I do just want to quickly mention on Australia, just because we didn't mention them in Group D, they'll probably be similar in terms of being that defense-minded and not really having much of the ball and trying to frustrate you. Let's get to Group E then. So Ecuador is the fascinating story of this group because in a qualifying region with Brazil, Argentina, Colombia, an incredible array of talent, they finished second. And if you like that style of soccer, they, in 18 qualifying games, so the most difficult games to play in the world, they conceded 6 goals. 6 goals. So this team is incredibly difficult to play against. That starts with Moises Caicedo in that midfield who plays for Chelsea, who is just an absolute beast in midfield, but it doesn't stop there. There are tons of other really interesting players that have been developed by Ecuador who have really sort of gotten behind a footballing project that is actually led by one club, this club called Independiente del Valle, who have been a fantastic developer of talent. So you look all the way through this team and you see some pretty talented players but then of course your mainstays, you have Ener Valencia up front, who's been there for a million years. But you have Caicedo in that midfield. You have Alan Franco in that midfield, who's picked up tons of caps. Pedro Vite, who actually played for Vancouver, is now in Mexico. So they have some pretty solid players. And then at the back, two really solid central defenders in William Pacho and Piero Hincapié, who played in the Champions League final less than a week ago, that are going to anchor your back three. And you have Pervis Estupiñán, who had some good seasons at Brighton. So I don't know. You look at this Ecuador side, and you see a team that could potentially challenge Germany. Germany, I find incredibly fascinating because they're a team that obviously has the pedigree of being the 4-time World Cup winners, won it in 2014, but in the 2 World Cups that have followed, they went out in the group. They went out in the group in 2018. They went out in the group in 2022. At the last Euros, they were the host nation and went out in the quarterfinals, despite being Germany hosting the Euros. So I see a team that isn't quite in the top tier of contenders, but still has some damn good players and some players that you wouldn't want to face off against.
What'd you make of Ivory Coast roster selection, primarily Wilfried Zaha not making the national team?
Yeah, I mean, for Zaha, I think some of that, some players get penalized for playing in MLS, and I think even in MLS, relative to the standards of other great players in the league, he wasn't really delivering at a great level. So I think it probably was time, and Ivory Coast have some pretty solid players to come in behind them. The one player to watch, again, this is sort of the one that you can take to your friends, is Jan Diamande. He plays for RB Leipzig in Germany, and already there are links with him going to Liverpool in this summer for an astronomical sum. He scored 12 goals in the Bundesliga this season, and he is a player absolutely to watch at this tournament. But that's not it. I mean, they've got Engyon Boni, who had a pretty solid season for Inter as well in Serie A. Simon Adingra, who's had some good seasons. Amad Diallo for Manchester United. So this is a team that has reloaded with some talent. It's not quite the golden generation that they had with Didier Drogba back in the late 2000s, but it's still a really good group of players that I can see giving a real challenge. As far as if they are to finish third, which I'm not even certain that they will, I think they can challenge Ecuador and Germany. But if they are to finish third, I would definitely see them getting through against Curacao.
Quickly, Group E, probably because Curaçao's presence in it and everyone looking to load up on goals against them, one of the more likely groups to have 3 teams make it to the next stage.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. Again, because goal differential will play a role. Curaçao, we should mention, is a great story that they're even here. It's almost entirely basically the Dutch national team D is essentially what it is, because it's all the players
the story.
include.
because the story is not going to be a long one at the World Cup. But
it's an island of 50,000 people that qualify for the World Cup. It's amazing. It's just
it's amazing. But for many teams, just getting here is the achievement in itself, and that is the case for Curaçao. But an incredible opportunity. Should they get a point, it'll be a monumental moment for that team. Group F, Netherlands. I'm seeing a lot of people pick Holland as a potential dark horse winner lately. It's getting very sexy to pick that. This is one of the toughest groups in this World Cup competition. The Dutch, the Japanese, Sweden, Tunisia. Give me your take on this group.
Well, I think when you look at Netherlands, I think they're going to have to win the group. Because if they don't, well, I mean, either way, the matchup in the next round is tough for them. If Japan wins the group, then you're playing basically, if you win the group, you're playing Morocco or Brazil, which is pretty tough as far as round of 32 matchups go. But yeah, I mean, Netherlands are a team that I think have really found some good answers. Daniel Malen is definitely the player who's been the biggest story in the second half of the season. Signed for Roma in January and almost single-handedly led them to the Champions League, which was not a given when he signed, and they had some down periods as well. But Malen has been very good. The big surprise here in terms of the playing squad is no Jeremy Frimpong, for as well as he was playing going into Euro 2024. He had a bad season for Liverpool, so he's out. Virgil van Dijk kind of on his last legs. He's still able to anchor a defense, and kind of the shock name that's still out there doing it is Memphis Depay in that forward area. He had 8 goals in qualifying. He was really good for them. So yeah, I can see it. I think the Netherlands have some pretty good players, but this is sort of my classic March Madness preview. Don't sleep on Japan, because Japan are a team that have been absolutely fantastic over the last few qualifying cycles. Their manager's been there since 2018, knows exactly how to get that group to play. This is sort of one of my surprise picks. I have Japan winning this group.
Wow. All right. So you and I have a very similar take when it comes to Japan, because there is a scenario here where Brazil matches up with Japan. If that's the case, look out. That is upset
that's
city.
Upset. That's
put the town on alert.
Absolutely.
Put the town on alert.
I gotta look up, where is that game being played? Whatever. It's not important now. But anyway, I mean, with Japan, this is just a side that knows exactly what they want to be. They've got players that many of them play in Germany, actually, and they have more sort of a German style of play. They have 6 or 7 of them that are playing in Germany, but sort of the entire team is brought into that idea. Ao Tanaka in midfield was really good for Leeds, both in the championship and had a good season in the Premier League as well. Wataru Endo will be a key part of that side, playing for Liverpool, and will continue to anchor that midfield. The one player that is a big miss for them is Kaoru Mutoma, who has been a really good winger for Brighton for the last few seasons. He misses out because of injury. So that is the one thing that I would definitely hold against them. But yeah, I mean, in this group, Japan, for the way that they know how to play together, I can definitely see them being a group winner, at the very least a group runner-up in my mind, ahead of Sweden and Tunisia.
Yeah, Tunisia's not the easiest side to go up against, and this might be a group that on the surface you think gets 3 into the next round, but that might be tough depending on Tunisia. Does this group get 3 teams? And if so, who's the odd team out?
So I actually think it's going to be Tunisia who will be the odd team out, just because Sweden have a pretty solid group of forwards. When you can start with Victor Gyökeres or start with Alexander Isak and bring the other off the bench or figure out a way to play them together.
Isak's a mixed bag, though. Like, his fitness is
especially
in
right
question.
now.
Do you think that this is a group that gets 3?
I think so. Just because I think Sweden is of that level. The way that they don't is Tunisia causing everyone else problems.
Mm-hmm.
And here is a stat that I think you'll really find interesting based off of how much you enjoy defensive football. They played 10 qualifying games in Africa. They qualified conceding 0 goals.
Yep.
0 goals they gave up in qualifying. So if they're going to be the stingy team, and I think the groups that won't see a third team advance, it's because there are a number of draws that happen in the group. And I can see Tunisia being that pesky team that draws with everyone. Sweden ends up with 2 points or 1 point or whatever, and they don't get through because they don't have enough points.
Yeah, the Expanded World Cup allows for some bad matches in the group stage. Every match, I think, in Group F is interesting and going to be tight. Group G, not necessarily the case. We're familiar. Although, when it comes to storylines, this is probably Dan Le Batard's favorite group because you have Iran and you have New Zealand, and he's all caught up on Tim Payne and that story, so we don't have to get into that. But you got Egypt and Belgium. Now, most people on name recognition would just assume Belgium, but it's not the golden generation, and maybe people are carrying that result that they had against the U.S., thinking that that might be some sort of predictive analysis. Not the same Belgium. This group is interesting in that I'm not exactly sure who the worst team is, and on Egypt's best day, I'm not so sure Belgium can beat them.
Yeah, I mean, Egypt is a fascinating one. They haven't gotten out of the group in the World Cup since 1934. So I'm holding my breath and waiting for that to happen. But you have the 3 players you need up front in order to get it done. You have obviously Mohamed Salah, who is now out of contract, having just left Liverpool. I wonder if he kind of left his decision until after the World Cup, just in case. If I go out there and score 3 or 4 goals and I look like Mo Salah again, maybe he can go still play at a pretty high level in Europe, or he just goes and gets the bag in Saudi Arabia, which is what a lot of people are anticipating. So you have him. You have Omar Marmoush, who had a really good 18 months with Eintracht Frankfurt first and then Manchester City. He's been a really good player. And Trezeguet. No, not that Trezeguet, just a player who takes on the nickname Trezeguet, who's actually a really good player for Egypt. So, but the thing is, in these knockout tournaments, you just haven't seen it at the highest level from Egypt. So I still think, even though some of that golden generation has aged out, I think Belgium are the class of this group, still going forward and still producing some pretty high-level players. It's not Eden Hazard anymore, but Jeremy Doku has been really good for Manchester City, and is sort of one of those players where, again, if you're not watching club football in between World Cups, watch Jeremy Doku. That dude is fun to watch. He's got that little dance step that goes over the ball and just goes flying past defenders with a minimum of ease. With De Bruyne, with the Catalare, I like this Belgium group. I think that they'll win it.
Now, this could be one of those sneaky groups that does get 3 teams in, depending on how some of these matches break down. And if the circumstances were more normal, I'd probably have Iran pegged as one of those teams. The United States knows from running into Iran in the World Cup, famously losing in 1998, needing a result in the last group day of the last World Cup against Iran. And you and I were very nervous in that match against that opponent. This, though, seems like a very difficult situation for this football program, and to play in this country, too. I got to imagine that this is near impossible for them, considering the circumstances.
Well, and the interesting thing, too, is they played their first 2 games in Los Angeles, and Iran has a big expat community in Los Angeles. So I'm kind of fascinated to see what those crowds look like. It is sort of difficult to comprehend what this is going to be, especially if there is no ceasefire, there is no agreement, there is no nothing that happens in the intervening period before this thing kicks off. So yeah, I have no idea. It kind of seems frivolous to talk about, but their first game against New Zealand is kind of massive.
Yeah.
Because we saw New Zealand get smashed by Haiti in a friendly, and if they're there for the taking at that level, Iran are gonna need to win that game if they're going to advance in the group. But it is kind of sort of ridiculous to talk about them in a sporting context, given everything that's going on. And yet we see all the time when sports teams become this sort of safe haven or this uplifting story through which a nation can rise or a nation can feel better about itself despite everything that's going on at home. So yeah, I mean, I think Iran will definitely be carrying that to the World Cup, but we've seen that go both ways. It can be both a horrible burden that leads to poor performance, or it leads to a sort of inspirational, motivational performance. But it will be a fascinating watch nonetheless.
All right, we head over to Group H. I think you and I both have Spain winning this group, and there's going to be plenty of time for us to talk about Spain. So let's skip them here in the interest of fairness and time. A couple matches actually being played in Miami. This group is features one of those matches. Is this a group that can get 3 out of the group?
It's going to require Cape Verde kind of being a doormat, which is entirely possible just based off of, their complete lack of history in the competition, the fact that it was a complete shock that they qualified for this in the first place. That was the group with Nigeria in it. It probably should be Nigeria in this position, but instead, here we are. Cape Verde are in the World Cup as a tiny nation, also a ton of expats that come from elsewhere, but Saudi Arabia obviously took care of business in the opening game of the World Cup last time out, beating Argentina and completely throwing the biggest upset of the tournament by a long distance. They now have to play the role of favorites, and that is their final game of the group. So you kind of, if you're Cape Verde or you're Saudi Arabia, maybe you nick a point off Uruguay or off Spain in those first 2 games. But I think this game comes down to match day 3 in Houston, Cape Verde against Saudi Arabia. One of those games that when the World Cup expanded, everyone was like, oh, there's going to be terrible games like blank against blank. And people would have said Cape Verde against Saudi Arabia, but that game might be massive. It might be incredibly important for a team like Cape Verde or like Saudi Arabia to potentially advance. If they win that game, they give themselves a great chance. So I think Spain, as you say, are clearly favorites. I actually probably have them as my favorites to win it all, never mind this group. But Uruguay are a team that I think a lot of people thought would get here in a good place, but they don't. They just don't. I mean, they got smashed for the United States in November. They did not qualify very convincingly. The manager, Marcelo Bielsa, one of the great characters of world football, they call him El Loco. He has this incredibly defined style of play, but he seems to have fallen out with a lot of the players, namely Luis Suarez, who kind of leads the hearts and minds of the players in that Uruguay dressing room. So I do not feel a great deal of confidence about their prospects, but it should be enough to get out of this group as runners-up, given the competition.
And they should be able to get some good crowds. And your best guess, does Uruguay and Spain, does that match day 3 end up mattering?
No.
Okay.
No, I think both teams will arrive to match day 3 with 6 points.
All right,
and it really only comes down to the matchups that you want. I think that'll be a sort of interesting part of this bracket. If you finish as a group winner, your chance of playing a third-place team is much better. So when I ran the simulation, sorry to drag this on. When I ran the simulations and I did my picks, I had Spain winning the group. They would play Austria in the next round, whereas Uruguay would play Argentina. And that there's a big difference between playing Austria and Argentina in the next round.
I kind of hope that plays out. Let's head over to Group I. I'm actually watching in person one of these matches, heading up to your neck of the woods in New York to watch France-Senegal. Iraq is in this group, and Norway, a team that I think can make some noise in this tournament. What is your takeaway? France obviously being one of the tournament favorites. I think odds on between them and Spain kind of vacillating, being top dog there. What do you make of Group I?
I think this is the toughest group. I think this is the best group. I think this is the group that is most worth watching, just because you have really Norway as the team that are sort of the third team in that group. Senegal, as you mentioned, won the Africa Cup of Nations. They have since had it rescinded, but obviously they got there in the first place. This is a really talented group of players. They were missing some of their key guys against the United States. So I wouldn't necessarily hold that performance against them massively. France are the tournament favorites by a long way, and Norway have come from nowhere. Let's be very clear. Norway have not qualified for a major tournament, Euros or World Cup, since 2000. You've had how many chances to qualify in between, including 3 Euros that have had expanded fields, and you still can't get to the Euros. And all of a sudden, Erling Haaland, obviously as one of the best strikers of the world, if not one of the best players in the world, is in top form. But they've got 3 strikers. They've got Alexander Sorloth, who's playing really well for Atletico. They've got Jorgen Strand-Larsen, who's had a couple of good Premier League seasons for Crystal Palace. You got 3 good center forwards at this level. Insane. And then you bring on Martin Odegaard, who's a good number 10 and can play creatively in midfield. Andre Schelder up in wide positions. And all of a sudden, Norway look like a pretty good team. So I think this is the most talented group of teams. And I think Norway versus Senegal, for as much as I say don't take too much in their performance against the U.S., I do think Senegal are the team that are going to finish third here, just because I believe in Norway that much. And I believe, now, obviously, one of the things that you would say as well, Norway, they're playing in America. It's going to be really hot, but I actually think they kind of got the luck of the draw here in terms of their locations. They're not playing in Miami. They're playing at Foxborough twice and at MetLife in their other game. So they actually might get lucky in terms of the conditions that they're going to be playing in. So I don't think heat will be too much of a role for them. And I think that they're the second best team in this group.
All right. Let's move on to Group J. Oh, wait, briefly. Does Group I get 3 teams?
Yes. I think poor Iraq is going to have a bit of a rough go here. And I think those 3 teams will beat up on them. And maybe you can see Senegal drawing against France, but then beating Norway. Or you can see multiple teams getting to 4 points in this group.
All right, Group J, you tipped your hand on Austria. You have them coming out of the group. Does Group J have 3 teams that comes out of this group?
Yes, and I really like Austria as well. They're a team that, again, international football is so much about identity. Can you find an identity, a style of play that is cohesive and fits your group of players? And Austria have done that fantastically well. They brought in Ralf Rangnick, who's sort of one of the minds, one of the big minds of the philosophers of football, who brought in this idea of counter-pressing, playing quickly, and trying to score in 6 seconds or less when you turn the ball over. That's sort of his idea. Go high pressing at your opponent, win the ball back quickly, play it quickly, and every team that all these guys play for at club level largely play that system, and so it works for them. So I actually have them as the second best team in the group, but Argentina are so worth talking about. Obviously, this seems like a last hurrah for Messi. This seems like a last hurrah for quite a few players, and the question with them is, are they overly reliant on the group of players that won them the World Cup 3.5 years ago? Is Rodrigo de Paul still capable of hitting a high level when he has bad performances for Inter Miami and MLS? Was he saving his best for the World Cup? Was Lionel Messi saving his best for the World Cup? Is he still capable of carrying a team on his shoulders at 39 years old to going and winning the thing again? It's a fascinating conversation. It's hard to rule them out because of how good they have been in winning back-to-back Copas America and winning the World Cup last time, but there's still a lot of questions around that team.
And you did say that you have 3 teams coming out of this group. I assume Algeria is that third team for you?
Yes, Algeria as one of those teams in Africa that are just sort of a consistent performer. They're not anything spectacular, but they always have a solid enough group of players where you can see them getting out of a group. And I just think that Jordan will probably make up the sort of bottom level of that group. Riyad Mahrez is one of those figures who still is scoring at a decent level in Saudi Arabia. Houssem Ouar in midfield as well. Actually, quite a few players are based in Saudi Arabia for this Algeria group, but I still like them. I still see a lot of talent here. Ibrahim Maza in wide positions could be an interesting one to watch as well. But yeah, I think Algeria have enough talent to beat Jordan, which will probably see them through into the next stage.
Group K, sneaky tough. Now, you know how you'd probably be asking, how is a group with Portugal and Colombia sneaky tough? I think a lot of people underrate Uzbekistan and DR Congo. So when the fixtures came out, I'm like, man, a lot of people are going to be paying a lot of money for a Portugal-Colombia match that might be inconsequential when it's all said and done. That might not be the case. This could be a tight group. There might be some draws in this group.
Yeah, well, and it's not even just that game could be considered inconsequential because it's first against second. I think the difference in paths for the winners of this group is fairly significant. So in my predictions, I had Colombia to finish top ahead of Portugal. I have them beating Portugal on that final day of the group. They would play the Ivory Coast. If Portugal advanced to the round of 32 as runners-up, they played Croatia. And so that's a pretty significant difference in terms of level of opponent that you can play in the next round. And then if Portugal got through that, they played Spain in the last 16. So if you finish as runners-up, you're on a collision course with Spain in the last 16. So I think going and winning this group is going to be very important. But I agree with you on this DR Congo side in particular. I think it really is about sort of the level of talent and where these guys are playing at. Johan Wissa, great season for Brentford 2 seasons ago, didn't quite hit those heights at Newcastle, but you have Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who's still in the side, plays for West Ham. You have Noah Sadiq, who had a great season for Sunderland as well. So they've got 5 or 6 pretty good players that are of the level. I think Uzbekistan will probably have a little bit tougher of a go in this group. I have them to finish 4th, but even still, Eldor Shomurodov is one of those players who's been around for this group for a million years and can still kind of be that inspirational figure. So yeah, I don't think this is going to be easy necessarily for Portugal and Colombia, but as I mentioned, winning this group I think is going to be paramount for whoever wants to go deep in this tournament.
Excited, humble brag. I'm going to Guadalajara to watch Colombia versus DR Congo. I'm really excited about
That's a good
that.
game.
Yeah,
that's a good game.
Coming up here on Group L, name recognition-wise, especially those familiar with CONCACAF, Panama, a tougher opponent. Is Group L potentially the group of death here, our final group? And can football properly come home?
Well, okay, so here's a really interesting sort of scenario that I've come across that a lot of people have talked about. So if England win their group and Mexico win their group, the path for England to the semifinal is playing Mexico at the Azteca on July 5th, which would be incredibly difficult given the atmosphere and given the conditions there. They would then have to go into a quarterfinal against Morocco or I believe it was Brazil is the other team in that group. Morocco or Brazil in Miami for a 5 p.m. kickoff. 5 p.m. kickoff in July in Miami. Good luck, lads. This is going to be a really tough knockout stage for England if they go on and win this group. I think in terms of the talent that they have, this is as good as of an England side as they've ever had. And the players that they're leaving at home, ludicrously good to leave Cole Palmer at home, to leave, so many of these guys that play well week in, week out in the Premier League at home. But Thomas Tuchel has an exact idea of what he wants. And if you don't fit in that idea, get out. And I think that actually is the more intelligent way to go about it when it comes to international football, because you have to form an identity in a team. It's not an all-star team. So I kind of like what they've done with their squad, but you're right about the rest of this group. Ghana are never easy. The United States has learned that over and over again when it comes to the World Cup. Croatia, obviously, as well, finished 3rd last time, 2nd the time before.
Are they
the World
too
Cup.
old?
I think so. I think this might be one World Cup too many. I think they'll advance, but I think in terms of that midfield, Luka Modric, it's been reported he might retire after this World Cup, and he's still playing and going to play a key role in that midfield. Kovacic, Perisic, it's still a lot of the same guys. You need a couple of players. The main one being Petar Sucic, who plays for Inter, had a good season for them. He's got to take a big step forward, and we saw them take a pretty solid beating in their pre-World Cup friendlies as well. So I'm a little bit worried for Croatia. I still see them as the second best team in this group, and it's an all-out war for Ghana and Panama to be the 3rd best team.
Yeah.
Ghana still have some really good talent, but Panama and CONCACAF have been the team to be afraid of for the last 6 years that aren't the big teams, U.S., Canada, and Mexico. Panama have absolutely been next, and I can see them causing more than a few teams problems in this group.
Yeah, I think England, Croatia, and Ghana better be on their toes. We're familiar with CONCACAF Panama and the challenges once you get to this side of
They've
the
done
planet.
it to the U.S. 3 times.
Yeah.
They beat them in the Nations League, they beat them in the Gold Cup, and they beat them in qualifying as well. So, I mean, this is a U.S. team that this is sort of the group for the U.S. to hide behind the couch between Ghana and Panama being in that same group.
I got a sneaking suspicion Panama might crash a party or two. Here.
I have them to finish 3rd. I have them to finish 3rd in this group.
And then we're playing.
So, but I think
then we're playing some
I think
lottery.
they might draw against Ivory Coast, and it might be tough for them to get out. But I have them finishing 3rd in the group.
All right. So, believe it or not, we've actually done all of this in under an hour, and it's left me time to ask you some just tournament. For some tournament predictions on the whole. So first things first, let me get your prediction for group match of the tournament.
It's kind of funny that they were focusing so much on Scotland against Haiti, but that honestly might be up there in terms of a candidate
You sicko.
Just because of sickness. Just because of how important that game is to both nations, how long it's been, how great the Haiti story is. I mean, look, the most obvious one is there are 2 for me, key winners of best group game: Brazil, Morocco, and Colombia against Portugal.
Yeah.
Just because those are two high-level teams
And the
with
atmosphere
big fan
in
bases.
Miami is just going to be
right.
insane.
Oh, my God. It's going to be madness. Think about the number of people that are going to try and get in the door to watch Colombia, and then the number of people that are going to try and get in the door to watch Cristiano Ronaldo. That stadium could be 150,000 seats.
The doors. How about
and it
the air
wouldn't fit.
vents, Chris?
Think of the air vents.
Think of the air vents.
Yeah.
They don't care for doors. I'm well familiar with the Colombians' work at that stadium. All right, so
I hope the security perimeter is better established this time.
I would hope so. Give me your prediction for the semifinals.
Okay, so my semifinals, based off of having done the group, I'm kind of amazed at looking at it over again. I have Mexico against Argentina in one semifinal, and I have France against Spain in the other. So I have Mexico winning the group, beating England in the last 16, beating Morocco in the quarterfinal, and getting to a semifinal against Argentina, which would be absolutely wild for Mexico in this country to go all the way that far as a host nation. But I just sort of see there was something about Mexico against England at the Azteca. I don't know, man. I don't know. I see it as a tough place for England to go in that altitude after everything they've given to the season. And then France against Spain. I have Argentina against France in the final again, with France winning it this time. I have them being the champions for a second time in 3.
All right, now some predictions for some individual awards. Golden Boot.
Kylian Mbappe. I mean, if I have France going all the way, I think Kylian Mbappe is going to score tons of goals for that team. And, you know, he's been probably one of the best World Cup players that we'll ever see, just based off of what he did in the last 2, getting to the final, scoring a hat trick in the final, won the Golden Boot last time. I see Mbappe doing it again.
Young player of the tournament.
So this is an interesting one. So if I have Mexico going that far, I can easily seeing it be Gilberto Mora for Mexico. If they're going far, he's going to be part of the way that they do it. Jan Diamande is another candidate. We mentioned him already. Florian Wirtz, I actually think I'll probably go with him as my pick. I really like Florian Wirtz as a player for Liverpool. He did not have a good season. All the Liverpool fans seem to hate him. He's one of those guys that gets into the troll football cycle of criticizing individual players, but I don't know. I love that guy. I love watching that guy play.
Leverkusen Wirtz was just an outstanding player. Kind of crazy to refer to him as a young player because he was just so incredible early on for Bayer Leverkusen. Golden Gloves.
Golden Gloves is a good question. So I am
and
probably
why is it Memo Ochoa?
Can you imagine? Can you imagine if he starts?
I mean, given your bracket, I mean, we can't rule it out.
I know. I don't even know if he's gonna. I don't know if he's gonna play.
I guess given your bracket, Emmy.
Yeah. Martinez is certainly up there. Yeah, I'll go for Dibu Martinez for another World Cup, making big saves. Maybe Magic Mike Maignan as well.
And finally, Golden Ball, player of the tournament.
So if France are going all the way, which I have them to do, I'm going to go for Michael Olise. He right now is my Ballon d'Or pick. If the Ballon d'Or were held today, I would pick him as my Ballon d'Or winner. He is my favorite footballer to watch in the world. The creativity that comes out of that dude's boots is absolutely staggering to watch. He puts so many defenders on skates, and we're talking about the best defenders at the highest level, and incredibly, because he took a while to get here. He grew up in the English system. He played for Reading, then he played for Crystal Palace. He made his big move to Bayern 2 seasons ago, and incredibly, this is his first major tournament. He didn't play at the Euros in 2024, so this is his first major tournament. I just see him as that level. I see him as that guy of this tournament. I think he's going to become a household name during this tournament.
Wow, we did this all under an hour. A nice tight hour. Chris Whittingham, make sure to support our friend Whitty. He's going to be around Morally Abhorrent more than he probably realizes. You can support him on Golazo Network, on Paramount Plus. Make sure you check him out. Or you can subscribe to his OnlyFans where you can check out his butthole. Please leave a tip. Not that one.
Whoa.